Hey, we back? We on air? Hey everybody! Sorry, a little hiccup. It's been a minute. How are y'all doing? This is your girl Nikki Dollars, and you are listening to the Curve Unplugged.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, we are
yes.
back.
That was
Back.
pretty sexy, right? We're bigger, badder, maybe fatter.
Thank you.
All
Thank you.
of the above.
So why don't we introduce ourselves again, lovely lady?
Hey y'all.
All right, and this is Coach Keish. I'm so happy we're back. I love you guys, and we've missed you so much.
Hey y'all, it's Christy Love. How are you doing? Welcome back to us, and we're back for you. And
I need some more enthusiasm.
what?
in your
Oh,
voice.
why
Like,
is it
that's
every
so-
time
That
that
sounded
I
like you
try-
work at the
Okay.
funeral home.
It's been going on for too many years. It's 2020. It's a new century.
What the
Get your
hell?
life. Get your life.
I got my life. My life is, hey y'all, this is Christy Love. I'm back. Now, you happy now? You
What's up
happy?
with all these finger action? Okay.
Pettiness.
Hello, everyone. This is Perla Celeste. I'm so happy to be back.
Yay. So listen, guys, we're doing something new. We have a YouTube channel. We are streaming live right now from our YouTube channel. Hey.
Nothing
So
like
go
live.
to our YouTube channel and subscribe. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. The Curve Unplugged,
What
okay?
accent was that?
I don't know.
I was a model of Negda's cousin. Y'all didn't get that?
No.
No, I thought you was with Hawk Me them down there.
Exactly. That's what you sounded like.
I don't know
what you
what
were trying to do.
I mean, I know you rocking your bohemian hair, but I didn't know you went there.
Oh, they jealous.
We're bohemian over here.
That's right.
Oh my
They be
God! I
jealous.
tried to do something crazy with my hair the other day.
They is boho hoes. Don't worry. It's
Ooh, they so jealous. Ooh, they jealous. They real jealous. So, ladies, I'm just so excited we back. I'm
Yes.
so excited to
I miss-
be here.
I missed this.
I think a lot has changed in our lives over the past 2 or 3 years.
Oh God.
Yes?
Jesus have mercy.
No, Perla? Not really?
I mean, yeah. You know, I'm beautiful. I'm more. Better than ever. Look at this. Look what I'm doing, guys. My grays. I'm leaving my grays. Stop
Uh-huh.
dyeing them. Accepting the grays. So
I have
that's
accepted
You
definitely
are,
a change.
you're becoming one.
Yes.
Okay.
That's
I'm
a
gonna be one of
beautiful
those. I'm gonna leave that little patch right there. A couple of patches.
Okay.
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 I like.
I think Keena's the only one that's new to the radio.
Yes, I am.
Hey, everybody. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Keena, because our
Well-
listeners don't know who you are yet.
According to some, people think that I'm a white girl, but I'm not a white girl. Thanks to Proa. I'm just kidding. Yes, I am here. I'm happy to be here on the radio, and these wonderful ladies have literally popped my cherry in a way.
Thank you.
Because when I first met these ladies, I was pretty much in a shell. But yeah, that's all gone now. Thanks
it
to
is.
all of you equally. I love you all.
We love you back.
I'm a
Yes.
cry.
You're gonna cry?
Really. So what has changed in your world, Miss Nikki?
Yes, I can't wait.
Well, I have a baby, a little doggy. He's my baby.
Ay, Dios mío.
My baby Zoe. So that has changed. I'm now a dog mommy, and I'm proud to be a dog
A
mommy.
fur mommy, isn't
A
it?
fur baby. She's my fur baby.
She's your fur baby.
Yeah,
That's what they
she's
call
my
me.
fur baby. So I got into a relationship,
Uh-huh.
You still there?
and yeah, I'm in that, and I don't know what else has changed. Nothing much other than
Are you
Other
in
than-
love?
Ooh,
Huh?
damn.
Are you in love?
Hell.
Let me
Like-
spell it.
right, like right now.
Yes, in
write
this
that down.
relationship that you say you are in.
Right now, right today, like right at this moment, no,
At 8:39.
no, I'm not in love right
March
now.
2nd, 2020.
I'm not. We're at that stage where it's kind of fizzling.
Y'all been together how long?
Not long.
And you fizzling?
Yes. About a year.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's fizzling. But other than that, yeah. I have a nephew now. Well, I have a new nephew. He's 5. So I'm excited about that.
Well, he ain't really that new.
Well, he's new to the. Yeah, I didn't have a nephew before. He wasn't
We
born
only been
before.
gone 2 years, and he's
So,
5.
and he's 5.
He was
so
here.
that doesn't make.
Oh, he was.
Yes.
Never mind then.
Oh, I'm done.
So as we can see, her memory hasn't gotten better.
No, that
That's
doesn't
not,
get
that's
better with
math.
time.
Simple
That
math.
was simple
First
math?
grade
What she
elementary.
meant?
She's an accountant.
Five?
Like she
Ain't
does
nobody
my
got time for that.
taxes.
Ain't nobody got time
I'm a
for
little
all that.
nervous right
You know
now.
what?
5
Yeah,
minus
she's
2.
a tax lady.
Ain't nobody got
He was
time to
3
remember
when we
all
got
that
there.
off duty. You know what I'm saying? When you off work, you remember all that crap.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So Christy,
Why-
tell us about the newness in your world, because
Christy,
you got a
tell us all
lot
about
of
the
newness.
guys on Sunday.
Inquiring minds want to know, like
Yeah.
me.
Okay. I am now a supervisor at my job.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Somebody was crazy enough to let me have to tell people what to do. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm one of those.
Good luck with that.
Really?
I'm listening. Go ahead. Sorry.
That's black girl.
Anywho, and I too have a new dog, and his name is Toby, and he's looking for a home.
He
is
got
not.
one.
He got one.
Mhm.
Trust.
Toby is a special breed. He thinks
He's
he's
special
A pit.
needs.
Yes,
He's
he
not
is.
a special breed.
He's something,
But that has nothing to do with him.
That's all parenting.
Yeah.
It is not. Wait
It
a minute.
is.
When they brought me the dog started growling at me. I said, this is not.
Because he
gonna
know
work.
you.
He knew the fact that I was gonna give him a home and some food.
He
needed,
know
so
that. He
Anyway,
know where he
I'm
was
not
going.
talking to you about that. I'm not going into you with that. Anyway, so I have a new job. I have a new dog. I'm back on air,
And what else?
and that's about it.
That's really not.
You got some cheering?
You got some children and a man.
No. I don't have children.
Let me tell you
and
something.
men.
I saw her on Sunday
With a whole bunch of children, right?
at a kids event.
Snitches get stitches.
Because she's a mommy
We
now.
went to the slime convention. I found Christy at the slime convention.
Exactly. And
With a dude
adults
and
just
2
don't
kids.
show up by themselves to
Right.
the slime convention. You got children.
I don't
I
think
have-
she value her life. You don't even value our life up here lying like that.
What are you talking about? In order for me and y'all to be in danger, they will actually have to give a damn. So
Oh, here we
they
go.
don't give a damn.
Okay,
So therefore,
Let's move on.
thank you,
Let's just-
Perla.
What?
Go to you.
She told us, yeah, about
So
her
everybody-
embracing
Keisha.
her grays.
Oh, that's right.
Coach, tell us about you and your
Okay,
life.
so I
Exactly.
have a new job. I'm really happy about it.
Okay.
Right? Secondly, my relationship took a shit,
Oh.
but we're going to work through that and move on to something else. And then I got kind of dumped by somebody I wasn't dating.
Damn.
I know, right? So, girls.
Okay. How do you do
Just
that?
in March.
Exactly.
And it's just March 2nd.
And it happened like after my birthday. Like everything was going well, I thought.
Well, did you get a gift?
That's what I'm finna say.
Yeah, I did get a gift.
Okay,
that's all
well,
that
there it
matters.
goes.
But then I got dumped. Before I even go with you, you dumped me.
Wait a minute. So we're not dating, but you dumped me.
Right. When somebody call you to their house to tell you they got a new woman,
But you
Oh my
like-
gosh.
but you ain't the
I ain't
original
your woman.
Oh.
But I need you to know that I got a new woman, so
You can't come over no
you
more.
can't do, you know,
Yeah.
and you can't.
Where they do that at?
Obviously over there.
Did he not get the handle?
You got really dumped.
I did.
That's
Friend,
that's
I
bad.
did. And then you tried to
Wow.
tell me I
Really tried
did.
you, yo.
No, but technically,
I'd be like, don't call me no more. I gotta say all that.
Go,
Yeah,
go.
we-
Literally.
No, I mean, it required a conversation. So
Okay, I mean, I feel it.
I appreciate the honesty, right?
You'd be like knocking on the door, like,
Yeah.
so what happened?
But I won't be revisiting that particular venue anymore at all. Like, I'm good, homie.
So far, what I'm grasping from our lives, from when we've not been on here, is that we went through some shit.
Basically,
And right now, we just don't give a damn. So we
It
just
took
my,
us-
my,
we
my shit made me great.
it took us 2 years to get it together,
It
friend.
made me great. I didn't have to talk about it. It's like you just see it right here.
Man, let me tell you.
So
I'm just so glad that we're in 2020 because 2019, that heifer was a doozy.
she was rude.
Yeah, she was.
Honestly,
20
19 was,
doing
I would say 19 was good to me.
How?
because
You travel?
I traveled a lot in 2019. I've been to places that I hadn't thought about going and saw some beautiful parts of this
So do
country.
you love this country?
Like, I love this country. For
Okay.
those of you who think you have to leave the country to have a great vacation, I am here to tell you are wrong. Unless you have visited all 50 states,
They all have something to
they
give.
all have something to give. And like,
Right.
I've had great food, met great people, had great experiences, saw mountains and snow and all kinds of stuff. And I did not leave the country to do any of that.
Right.
So if you haven't visited other than your state and maybe Georgia, it's time to venture out and
Yes.
check out
Yeah.
some new
And
ones.
just a
course.
pre-note, ladies and gents, starting in October, you're gonna need a passport to get on a plane.
Wait, to go anywhere?
Wow.
Even in the
Yes.
U.S.?
Yes, yes, starting in October.
Oh, that's gonna be a mess for some people.
Yes.
Cannot
How much is
get
a
one.
passport?
It's
Why
like
can't they get one?
150.
Oh, like the people that have to pay child support?
People that have paid child
Child
support or taxes, if you owe a
Yeah.
large amount of taxes, they won't give
Really?
you
Wait,
a
wait, the ABC man gonna stop you from getting on
Yes,
the
they
plane?
will.
Yes.
Or if you have other problems and your passport has been revoked for any reason.
So pay your bills.
I mean, that's to get on a plane. You can drive
But I don't understand why would you need a passport to travel within the U.S.?
because that's the
We
new
want
law.
to know that who you are.
That's the new law. Your ID is no longer, will no longer be sufficient. Your driver's license will no longer be
What?
sufficient.
Well, if that's the case, then why are we have to get these new driver's licenses with the little star?
That's
on
to, because that's to show that you've been
That's for
verified.
daily use.
Or the
the
star is
bank.
showing that you've been verified. You're a verified citizen, or you prove to the agency that you are who you say you are.
Hmm,
Mm-hmm.
They
okay.
just find any way to get your money.
That's
Yo,
all
for
it is.
real.
You gotta have a
Any way to
passport.
get
on
Hey,
it.
Yeah.
last year I did my car registration for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Because I used to do it yearly, and I'm like, man, these people catch me with all the tickets
And the
and all
tolls.
the tolls. I'm
Hi,
like, I can't.
Santel.
Like,
How you doing?
I got you next time. I'm doing 2020, so I'm hoping by June I figure out all the toll situations and everything that I've deferred for
All
2
you have to
years. This has
do-
gotten worse,
all you
I'm
have
sure.
to do with the tolls, make sure you done pay them something, and they won't bother with you.
Right. Well,
Don't pay nothing.
they haven't seen me in a
It's just
while.
you gotta pay something.
They haven't seen me in
Just a
a
little
Yes,
while.
and she's
Coming
the
from a
expert.
professional.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Professional toll ditcher.
Really?
Yes.
I don't know what
It's a
they're
couple
talking about.
things.
She knows all the little underpasses where you can
No
get up before
tolls.
paying.
No tolls and no library cards. Like, she did two
Are we-
things.
I have never met a person who is banned in 3 counties from getting a library card. That just don't make no sense.
I have a
This
library
cannot
card.
be
Thank you
real.
very
This
much.
is a lie. You guys are kidding, right?
What?
What?
You're kidding. You're not being able to get a
Yeah.
library
Listen,
card.
Linda,
Your
listen.
credit is
No.
horrible.
My credit is awesome. but
Not at the library.
No, when you can't get a library card.
I can't get a library card. And
At
they
all.
get, and it doesn't make no sense. They said, ma'am, all we need is the book back. I'm like, I gave
Oh,
you
Lord.
$200 in credits of books for that one book. You're not getting it back, so.
But
it's
they
all right.
just wanted they one book back.
No, I gave them $200 for a
But they just wanted they one book back.
$4.99 book.
No, no, no,
They
no,
wanted the book they gave you
No, no, no.
back.
Whatever.
See, she's the type of person come to your house and borrow your pot, and then try to give you some Tupperware dishes instead. Like, I'm gonna just give you this
but I'm
instead of
giving
Yo,
you
it's
something
apples for
No.
apples, baby.
apples
Right.
for apples. The people wanted the book you took.
Loan me your library
What
card.
book did you
Do not
take?
loan
No,
her.
not with your
No,
bad
see,
credit.
I have this collection of interracial books that I love, and I needed that one book. It was all tore up and it was raggedy, but I needed it because I couldn't find it nowhere else. They had it, so they give it to me. No, give it to me, and I give you something more valuable.
That's not how.
It doesn't matter.
not
Moving
how
right
it
the
along.
library
So
works.
you
Whatever
know
makes you feel good and lets you sleep at night. That you
Boom,
stole
there
from
it
the
is.
library.
I didn't steal from the library. I
Did.
Did you tell them when you were giving them those books that it was a trade for the book
Yes,
that
I
you
did.
kept?
No, she should have said it when she was checking the book out originally. She took the people
Well,
book
listen,
home and then
listen,
decided what they were
Listen,
going
all
to
of
get
you people
instead.
out there, have sympathy for me.
Don't do
loan
that.
her your library card.
Because you going to be on the hit list.
Well, my boyfriend, aka soon to be.
Oh, now you got a boyfriend?
Yeah, because he gave me his library card.
Oh.
That means he really loved you because everybody know not to hand you no library card.
So you
I
never
told
get
my
mine.
To
child.
me, but hey.
I told my
catch me
child, do
slipping.
not hand Miss Christie your library card. Do not.
haters.
Because he got to graduate from high school. What if they put them library books on his bill for graduation?
Reading
I
is
cannot.
fundamental.
It is. And giving them people their book back.
It was a
is too.
$4.99 book.
That's
$4.99.
unethical. I don't care if it was 99 cents.
$200. Can we move on?
We
Can
can,
go somewhere?
but that's
Thank you.
that's
Hey,
sad.
speaking about 99 cents, I went to Forever 21 the other day and got
There we
things
go.
for
That evil
$3.
That evil.
And
evil,
one
Did you go
speaking
with
of
them?
$1,
I
I bought $5 $1 bathing suits that I will be selling in Poshmark.
For $25.
Nah, like, yeah, 15.
And that's the Forever 21 on Lincoln Road. I second that because I too partook in that
evil,
wonderful $3 sale.
I don't know
Is
why you
it
keep on
open now?
saying that. You
No.
love that store. You could have.
Do you
At
understand?
least-
I just paid off that credit card, and it would have been
So
maxed
buy it
out.
cash.
No.
$3.
Now, honestly, it's $3, but honestly, none of that stuff I would actually wear outside the house, Pearl. I'm sorry.
What do you mean? That day that you went, yes, there was a lot of summer stuff. A lot of like, how do you say?
No, that stuff is cheap.
Thing house dresses. But they're probably like liquidating from all the stores.
And
but,
that's what's hard for me when I shop with them, is that a lot of the stuff, first of all, the plus size stuff, I'm not really super impressed with at Forever 21. But then it doesn't look like after I wash it, I'm gonna be able to wear this again. It looks
No.
like, I mean, if you only spend $3, then you get what you get.
Yeah.
But I just, in normal everyday shopping, and I also have an issue with presentation. I went to the location at Sawgrass Mall, and their window displays had all the mannequins, and the clothes were so wrinkled, and like, I actually took pictures and sent it to their corporate office, because presentation is
Gosh,
everything.
snitch.
Absolutely.
But maybe-
Absolutely. Why is this, it looks like someone balled it up and then stuck it on a mannequin.
But some of it.
How is that okay?
Hey, your trainers must be proud of you. They taught you well over there at Ashley's.
She's
When
the
you worked at
damsel in
Well,
Ashley's-
actually, Tory Burch
Tory
is where
Burch.
I
You
really
learned, like,
learned
really-
to really truly appreciate
Oh, really? Okay.
presentation.
Wish you worked at Tory Burch.
Yeah, that's when I learned to really
Really?
appreciate
Okay.
presentation.
I thought it would
More
be.
so than at Ashley.
Okay.
What Ashley really taught me is like, you really
How
have
to
to try
put
things
things-
on and how to put things together and get outside of your comfort zone with fashion.
Mm-hmm.
But you had been talking about that for years, Perla, like before I ever
Oh.
worked there. Like you had always talked about taking things and like meshing it up and making it your
Yeah,
own
I
unique
actually
look.
did something new. I had these loafers that I was gonna get rid of because they low with the type of. I bought so many clothes. I think at least I got like I'd say what, like 60 items, no more than 60 items. I had a trash bag full of things, and I've gone back 3 more times. The point is that my whole wardrobe is out of my bag, out of my in bags in the house. I have to pack it.
Okay.
I'm gonna send it to Dominican Republic to my cousin. But I had these loafers that I wanted to like do something different to them. I wore them. I wore them this morning to work. But I'm gonna send it to my cousin. But I undid a lot of those chains like from Ashley stores, like with the a lot of embellishment, and I glued it into the shoe, and it looks like a Dolce Gabbana shoe with a chain. Oh, and I undid a Betsy Johnson bracelet. So her things are funky. So between the chains and the embellishment, little whatever, it looked
Oh,
good.
you're going to have to show that off.
Somebody
You're gonna have to really do
gave
that
me
off.
a compliment today.
Oh,
I didn't really
nice.
leave my office, but the one woman that actually came in the morning, I was
Okay.
like, thanks.
So before we take our first break, I want to put out the bonus question of the day. Is being a feminist, this was from JB's page, is being a feminist equal to being anti-male? Is being a feminist, does that mean you're anti-male? So let's start with Nikki. What do you think?
Oh, I thought we were taking a break first.
You want to take a break first?
Yes.
Okay, all right, well, let's do that. Well, excuse me. So we're going to take a break, everybody, because Nikki said so.
I'm sorry.
No, you said so.
And, really, black people? Latino people? So we're going to take a break, and we'll be back. In the meantime, go to our YouTube channel, and that is the Curve-Unplugged, and subscribe. And make sure you download the app, Your Partner, YOPODNER, from your app store. And tune in to listen to us live. We're back, the Curve-Unplugged, right here on yourpartner.com.
Welcome back. We are back. So, again, we are live streaming from YouTube. So, do not forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are live right now. Hey, YouTube. And you're listening to us, right? So, you've already downloaded the app, yourpartner.com. And if you have any questions or comments tonight, please, please, please call us 954-769-1562. So, Coach, your question
Yes.
was?
Is being feminist, does that mean that you're anti-male?
Well, I don't think so. I do think sometimes the feminist movement has gotten a bad rep. I don't
Okay.
think, I think initially it was for us to have equal rights. And I think over the years, it's become, the persona or the look of it has become different. I know in the beginning they were criticized about only catering to white, middle class, middle-aged women, and other colors weren't represented. But now they've tried to have a multicultural, multiracial inclusion. In the beginning, they also fought for men's rights as well because they knew some men were being excluded gender-wise. But I do think it's gotten a bad rap because I know when you think of feminism, people think of really like stud women. They think of gay women. They don't think of just us needing to be equal.
I didn't know the LGBTQ community owned that.
No. I didn't say they own it, but I think that's the when people think of feminism, I think that's what they think because they think it's tough, they're hard, and that's not.
They don't shave.
Yeah, that's not most men's perception of what women, of who women are. So I think that I think that men have probably done that, and I think this because, you know. And I don't think it's so much men of color. I think the powers that be, those men who are in power, or any don't embrace change. When there's anything that comes up to buck up against the system, then you have to label it as something.
Okay. Kina, what are your thoughts?
Well, feminism, just the word itself just brings me to a different definition of what it is. I think for me, feminism is now the backwards. Feminism, like the conversation we had at one of our meetings about being more feminine. To me, feminism is tapping into my softer side. That's what I choose to define feminism to be because I am not anti-man. I want somebody to touch me, rub on me, poke me. You know what I'm saying? So, me personally, feminism to me is allowing myself to be soft, vulnerable, gentle, and number one, not challenging a man's ego. I think especially as Black women, we definitely challenge men's egos. So feminism to me is, chilling out and putting the men back in their place where they deserve to be.
All right.
Or even my thing is also like when you're pro, just because you're pro something, don't mean you have to be anti something else. Like when people say, well, you're pro-Black, that doesn't mean we're anti-white or we're anti-whatever. You're just for whatever you're for.
Okay. Perla, talk to us.
No.
Really? All right, Christy Love, come on, bring it.
No.
No, what?
You
No,
can't
what?
do that.
What? No, that answer the question. No, it doesn't mean that you're
Oh.
against men.
Oh,
I thought
okay.
you were trying to
You
do
don't
it.
hate men.
Okay, so elaborate.
Oh. Well,
You had to ask her that on a talk show.
no, stop, because I just went blank for a moment.
Okay.
No, I'm not. Being a feminist to me is that you're standing up for something. As a woman, you're standing up for what's right for everybody. And we have that tendency to do that. But that doesn't mean I hate men because there's some things that men do that, I don't like, but it doesn't mean I'm against them. I just love men. It's just when she said poke and everything like that, my mind just went
It just
over
went
there.
straight-
It just went
Okay.
straight over there.
This is the Chrissy
Over
y'all
where?
missed all last season.
Exactly.
What are we talking about?
No. When I'm not saying over there, but it just went so left field.
Thank you.
Big-
Okay.
Why are you
It's
stopping
okay.
me?
It's okay. I feel you.
See,
I know what happened.
And okay, I'm gonna piggyback
You're piggybacking.
off of
Kina.
yeah.
Kina's answer.
off of Keena's answer.
But that's
because-
okay, because that's why we unplugged.
See, boom. It's a
Paula, please.
This is after midnight. We were little after midnight shows. Like it's the warning, the midnight hour.
Okay, Perla,
What?
what is your idea? How
About
do you
what?
feel about the
Darling,
bonus of
the
the
queen.
question? The bonus question.
What was the bonus question about?
If you're a feminist, does it mean you're
Oh,
anti-man?
we're still on the same question.
Yes, we are.
I already answered it.
No, you did
but
not.
you did.
I did.
You did
No,
not.
no.
That was your answer?
Yes.
Well, you didn't elaborate.
I didn't need to elaborate. What did she elaborate for me?
Why are
I answered, and then you went and asked her. I
You know
was
what?
done.
I'm tired.
I was like,
We
come
are
on, let's
not
make it a win
okay.
today.
This is
Yay.
a public service announcement.
We
will
thought you
not-
meant no, go to Christy, not no,
No.
that's your answer.
Both.
Okay.
We will not be doing this.
Wait.
Okay.
And on Pearla's defense, 20 minutes from now, she gonna have her answer.
She don't have an answer.
Oh, but wait a minute. That thing
Let's
we're
go back.
talking about.
20? I'm not that slow. I'm slow, but I'm not that slow.
Okay.
So
20 minutes?
listen,
Thank you.
Coño,
Tell us.
me
I think
mataste.
what has happened
Me mataste.
is a lot of angry women, regardless of color, have jumped on the I don't need a man for nothing. I could do all of my own stuff and pay all my bills
But that
and
didn't-
like take
you
out
didn't
my
need feminism
own
for
God.
that.
But you don't need
My
feminism to
own
be angry.
gas.
But I think that has been
Her pet peeve.
misinterpreted. That has been misinterpreted
Yes.
to be a feminist statement, but it's not. It's just angry because you
We
know.
tired of
doing it all
carrying these
yourself,
groceries.
I mean, I
to
don't.
be angry.
I don't exactly. I don't want to pump gas. Like I just. I think I've said this for about
Well,
10
I don't
years.
like putting air in my own tires.
I don't want nothing that has to do
I
with
don't wanna touch a
manual.
car.
If there's manual labor involved, I do not want to do it. I was built for comfort. I was not built for speed. I was not built to be up under some car, changing some tire or putting some gas or oil or whatever the thing is that people do these days.
This is literally her. Like,
Do-
you know,
exactly.
the handkerchief and the, like,
Like I
and
am,
then the guy has to come and get it.
but
and,
I'm okay with that. Like,
you, my
see me. I need
yeah,
you.
hold your hand.
I
to
do
cross.
not in any way. I don't want that to get mistaken with the fact that I expect to get equal pay for equal work. Let's
Right.
not get it twisted.
There's
If
some-
we have the same job responsibilities, the same title, we work in the same amount at the same pace, I expect to be compensated the same way you would compensate a man for this job. I expect to be respected when I'm speaking the same way you would respect a man if he was speaking.
Correct.
So that, I believe, as far as feminism is concerned, I think that we have been sorely overlooked. And our government is okay with women making less money than men. They're also okay with getting rid of Planned Parenthood, but they want to keep making new erectile dysfunction drugs. So
Boom.
it's okay for the coochies to be broke, but the dicks gotta work. I got a problem with that.
But
Boom.
what if a guy says, well, a woman gets food stamps, she gets welfare.
Men
I
get
know
food
that.
stamps. I
I
know men
but-
get food stamps and welfare.
But I'm just saying, well, what if that is a man's argument because women have so much more aid than men do? I mean,
But what does that have to do with feminism?
So let's be also clear that the aid that a lot of men get is a woman,
Boom.
right? There's dudes out here that will not get a job if the job knocked on his front door and was like, I'm here, I got you, you know, will not. But there's a woman who he's driving her car while she's at work. There's a woman who's making sure he's always dressed to impress. There's always a woman that's gonna see about him. If you see a man in a grocery store with a little baby and he looks like he's struggling, you know how many women will stop what they're doing to help that guy out because, oh, pobrecito, poor him, you know, he needs help. But take your baby in the store and your baby crying, everybody gonna say she's not disciplining that child. So I think there's a very fine, a very definitive, not fine, a very definitive line between angry women and tired women versus feminism, because those are two different things. I
So
agree with
men,
everything
if
you
you're
guys said.
listening, what do you think? Do you think that feminists or women hate men?
Because we don't.
So give us a call, 954-769-1562. And women, are we all feminists? Are you a feminist just because you're female? Do you subscribe to the feminist movement or no?
Nope.
Call us and let us know.
I subscribe to a degree. I don't want to pump no gas.
I want like equal pay and all that stuff. but nowhere did I sign up for the fact that a man can't treat me, like do for me. Like I like to cook. I like to clean. I like to take care of the step kids that's running around. I like to take care of my man. Make sure when he comes home, he has a meal on the plate. He don't use paper plates. He gets his drink. He gets all that stuff. But then again, he still respects me as a woman out there working. He will wash the dishes. He will make sure the garbage is taken out.
I'm about to say, don't have me wrestling no garbage bag down.
That's the thing. He will take the garbage out.
I
And
can't
then
do
if
that.
I try to take the garbage out, because I say, you know what, you didn't take the garbage out, I'll take it. He'll get mad. He's like, no, I'll take the garbage out, Christy. I'm like, okay, well, go ahead, do your thing. So, I mean, so some women say, well, you shouldn't do that. If you work all day, how do you come home and you cook? Well, that's what I like to do. So, but that doesn't mean that he can tell me. Now, if he say, you gotta cook, why didn't you go? What you mean? I know you know how to cook too. He cooks a very good breakfast. So go ahead and do it. So if you keep bothering me, you're gonna do breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
For breakfast.
Okay. But a part of the feminist movement thing, I think a lot of the stigma that comes out of it, like what you just said, is people just don't know how to mind their own damn business.
Boom.
Why are you in other
shakalaka.
people's household telling them what they should and shouldn't do? If I have the energy to come home and cook because I love my man, that's what I'm gonna do. It's not my fault you lazy as hell. Ooh, hello.
Unapologetic.
And I do believe if you send your man out hungry, then whatever happens next is on you, sis.
Yeah, because they're gonna get fed
I
somewhere.
personally,
Really?
because I have been,
I don't
listen,
believe
I
this
have
from
been a
you.
work wife.
Aren't you you're
No, no,
naming
no.
yourself the feminist?
Because I am, but I'm an honest feminist. I tell the truth to whoever needs to hear the truth. This is the truth. Send your man out hungry, you gonna little regret it.
Somebody
Because
will
he gonna
feed
get
him.
fed. Believe me, I've been the work wife. So I know exactly what happens at the office.
Oh, you guys.
I've been that chick. So I know what happens.
Oh, those
And if you
guys.
continue to ignore the basic needs, and as a woman, like I think there's power in knowing that you come home and you cook for your man. That's powerful.
But I mean,
to
that
me.
is your man requires that. Your man might not require you to come home.
Whatever
and
it is that you come home and do, that's
Right.
for him. Whatever that may be. If you come home every day, get butt naked and do flips, if that's what he needs out of you,
Flips.
and you can do it, then sis, do you. You know, if
Wait.
I know someone who says
Flips?
her man, all he wants is that she never looks unkept. Like her hair, she can't go to bed with a bonnet on. So whatever hairstyle she has, it has to be where she could sleep with that hair, where she could do everything with that hair, because he doesn't want to see that bonnet when he turn over in the bed.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Right? So
But I
she
like that
makes sure
automatically.
Is he black
that her
or white?
hair, he is, but he makes sure that she
I'm sorry.
knows that that's his expectation, and she goes and makes sure that gets done. So it's not just about the basics of cooking and cleaning, but whatever it is that makes your partner happy, because every
Right.
household
No, it's
works
true.
the way
Everybody
it
is
works,
different.
then that's what you do.
I remember my girlfriend, she was married young, very young, like I want to say like 25, and so whatever, and she used to, when they would fight, her and her husband, she would clean, make breakfast, like she'd be mad, but she's like, here's your food, here's your breakfast, here's your lunch, here's your dinner, and I'm like, why do you do this? And it was kind of like a rule like that, very young, she knew, like those things you separate,
Right.
like you have, even if it's robotic sex, you cook for them no matter what, but you still have to still be
Why do we
open to
use
them. That's
sex
how
as a pawn? Okay, sex is for me
a man
too.
wants to have sex, so just the same
Why
thing.
is it
the way
robotic?
I'm robotic because you're mad. Robotic because you're
That's
mad.
the
but you
best
still,
sex in the whole wide
well,
world.
whatever. You still go through the functions of it, even if you didn't want to cook, you cooked. And just the same way that you say, if you're sending him home hungry, imagine if you send him out horny.
Exactly.
So it's the same
So
thing.
his belly
as
should be
food.
full and his balls should be empty.
Right. So,
Things.
so that's what
Write
I'm
it
saying.
down. Write it down,
And she
sis.
learned that a long time ago. No, I believe that. Because he would
Yes.
get, when he would have to go and be at his mom's house because he was kicked out or whatever.
Right.
He'd be like, please, I need to come home to hear her mom. Please talk to your daughter. I need to come home. I can't eat nobody's food. Nobody else cooks like her. Like that was his thing. That's his reason that he needed to come home.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's a good. Okay.
To you cooks, that's how you guys really feel. I know you really.
No,
feel like
I don't feel like that.
She
I
really
think
feels
it-
like that. You really
I
feel
do.
like that.
I just
Okay.
think it's.
I didn't know that you were that much of a
I
cook.
think
and
it
it's fun.
depends on your
Fall in love
person.
with your
I've
mom.
met men who needed a
food.
hot meal every night, and I met men that said, listen, I don't care if you don't cook. We can go out to eat every night. You know,
Yeah,
I've met men that didn't care if you don't have to cook and clean, I'll do that. And I had men that said, hey, this is what I want. So I think, again, it depends on the individual and what works for the both of you. You know, but whatever it is
No,
that
you
your
wanna
person
do it all.
needs and wants, then yeah, that's what you should do. But I don't,
start.
you know, I think
I'm
everybody is
defending you,
different.
bro.
And not only that, don't use the things that are naturally you as as a weapon, exactly. Because if you enjoy cooking, then you cook, right? But if everything in your relationship feels like a chore,
No,
you're
but you
in the
know-
wrong relationship.
But when you're mad at someone, you don't do it with the same love.
But I actually do, because what I'm angry with you about is separate from this. Now, if you
So
expected me,
you do it extra special. Like, this is what you're gonna lose if you keep playing.
no, you know what? But I've learned that even if you tell people that, because I always say the same thing. If let me love you while I'm loving you, please let me. Because if the day comes and I just don't love you no more, ain't shit you can do. It don't matter if you sit on your head, do flips, because the flips must be important to me. Maybe this might have something to do with porn.
In her head, she's doing flips.
It doesn't matter what it is that you do. Once I've gotten to that place where I've talked and talked and talked, and now I'm just talked out, it doesn't matter what you do at that point. But everything that I do in loving you, I did it lovingly. So thereby, you don't owe me nothing for that. But what I'm gonna take from you is me, and all that goes with me is all of that stuff.
And you're gonna regret.
Now you figure it out, cause I'm gone and I'm done.
Because that's what some people do. I mean, I've been angry. Boy, have I been angry. I've been angry a lot, but I wouldn't stop the basic. I wouldn't stop. I had it in my head. You work every day. You work, and because he does hard work, you have a meal. I'll cook. Your clothes are clean. Do you know how hard it is to not put T-shirts in a dryer? So I have to, I'm in an apartment, so I have to find places to hang the shirts so they can dry, so they won't shrink on him. And sometimes I just look at them, I want to ball them up and just throw them in a garbage can. I'm like, nope, that ain't me. I'm not gonna do that. So,
That is you. You sitting there
but I'm not,
pondering over.
no, for that moment I did, and then but my thing of it is, and it still baffles him. At the end of the night, I'm still mad. I'm like, hey, come on. He says, what? I said, come on, let's do this so I can go to sleep. And he goes, but you're mad at me. I said, I'm not mad at him. I'm mad at you, the person. I'm not mad at him. He ain't do nothing to me. So let's do this.
Way to separate.
So you're talking about sex?
Yes, let's do this, and you go about your business.
What's his name?
Who? Him?
Yeah.
Him. Oh.
Which him are we
Which
talking
him
about?
are we talking about?
Him downstairs?
Down there.
Or him upstairs?
No, I met
The
him
people
upstairs. I mean the one
He's
downstairs.
He's
The people pleaser?
pleaser.
Okay.
Oh Lord, people? How many people?
I have a lot of personalities.
Oh,
It all
those people.
depends on-
The people in
it
your
all
head.
depends
That's a
on-
whole show. That's a whole show.
Since we're on a feminist talk, so how long can you cook, clean, wash the clothes before you get a ring, or do you need a ring? I'm sorry, Chris.
Are we taking a
She
break?
dropping the mic. She dropping the cell
I
phone.
mean, I think that I mean, I think if that's just naturally what you do, that's just what you do. Is your intent to cook and clean just to get a ring, or is that who you are?
Why are you so technical? Oh my God.
No, because she's asking a great question.
Because, you know, a lot of men and women, you know, we go into these things. I know when I was younger, you go into, oh, I'm going to do this, this, and this to prove that I'm this good woman. So I'm proving this to him, so he should, in return,
Give
prove
me a ring.
Right, give me a ring. But now that I'm older, if that's who I am, that's just who I am. And if it's not who I am, that's just not who I am. You know, that shouldn't determine whether or not you feel like, hey, this is the woman I want to be with I want to be with her for the rest of my life, solely because she's cooking and cleaning for me. That's what I don't agree with.
So true.
And not only that, the ring does not make you a wife.
Sure does.
Like, it makes you somebody's wife, but the qualities of being a wife have to be in you prior to getting the ring, because the ring is not going to turn you magically. You know, I know we read Cinderella, but it don't turn your pumpkin into a chariot simply because he gave you the ring. If any of what you're doing to get to that place with your partner is contrived and based on, I must get this ring, I must get this wedding and spend all this money, then it ain't gonna last. Because then what happens? Once you
So
get
you're
the
worried
ring,
that when you're trying to
once
have
you had the
a wedding,
right?
not a
Once you had the
marriage.
wedding, now what?
Work on the marriage.
Because the marriage is what I want I want a big marriage. I can have a small wedding, but I gotta have a big marriage. And that has to come from the inner parts of you. The ring will not change anything
Surely won't.
at all.
And if you're with a guy, if all he wants you to do is come home and rub his feet, but you standing up in the kitchen cooking every night, that's not gonna get you any closer to getting that ring than
Nope.
it did
No.
if you didn't.
No.
It all
Unless
depends
you
on
have
what.
a foot fetish.
Because one of my
What's
exes,
important?
that was really our thing. When we broke up, we had a conversation several months later, and that was the thing. Keisha, I was all, I cook, I clean, I do this, and their response to me was, but I didn't ask you to do any of that. I asked that when I come home from work, I have your undivided attention. You standing in the kitchen cooking is not undivided attention.
That's just, you guys are
So-
showing your loves differently.
Yeah, exactly. So
See,
you have to
that's what
listen
that
to
is.
what your partner is saying, because they're telling you how to love them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, either you listening or you're not listening. But if you've decided what love looks like, you've decided for both of y'all, and you didn't include them in that mental conversation,
Right.
good luck with getting your ring.
Well, but you don't even realize it.
And you do it until you don't want to do it no more, Keena. You do it until it's not in you to do it anymore. But if you're doing
until it's not being reciprocated, or until it starts.
if it doesn't work for you, you stop.
It doesn't feel good and it ain't good, leave it
Then
alone.
you stop. Say what word? No, you don't know how to say that word. You need somebody to say it for you?
Did you sound it out?
What word are we talking about?
Oh, wait a minute.
She
So
wants
can
to
we say this?
She
Can
wants
I?
ring?
She wants to say this one word. Go ahead and try
Are
to
we
say it.
on are we on Facebook? Or we're on YouTube?
YouTube.
Too.
Fuck you hoes. Y'all get on my nerves.
He hooked on phonics.
Reciprocity. Boom.
Look
There-
at you.
I said it. She been practicing.
Reciprocity. That's what
Oh.
she was saying.
Because she said and something
Okay.
similar, and so that's where it fit in. See, I know what the word, how to use
Okay.
it in a sentence. Boom.
So are we getting into this whole pre-date,
Hello.
meet and greet? Because Perla is very
So
upset
yeah,
about this.
Perla, tell us what the pre-dating meet and greet. What is that? What is
Oh
that?
my God, I didn't make my notes. Okay, let me
Oh,
see if I can
Lord.
say it.
Okay.
All right, so it's not a date because the word date is no longer used.
Right.
It's a pre-date. It's a few other words.
Meet and greet.
Meet and greet. That's the one they told me.
Okay.
A meet and greet.
And what is
Yes.
it?
It's just coffee. It's not extended. It's only like 30 minutes.
A
It's
speed
kind of
date.
basically a speed date.
Okay.
But my problem is, I'm not gonna get out of my house, wash my face, clean soap, everything, all the expenditures, spray my very expensive perfume bottle, makeup on, expensive Sephora MAC, to then be seeing you
But
for
why
30
would you-
minutes. You're gonna get me a drink.
But Perla, why
And you're
would
gonna
you
buy
do
me a
that
meal.
for a meet and greet? Why would you do that for a meet and greet?
Because I gotta look fly wherever I go, and that costs money.
But your fly is just who you are, right?
Don't you
Yes,
do that
and it has to
regardless?
be worth my while. If it's not 30 minutes, it's not worth my while.
So what?
No.
So you don't like it because it's informal,
It
or
is very informal, and I like to be treated like a lady.
so they
Keena?
can't treat you like a lady at a meet and greet?
Another 30, no. You need to wine and dine me.
Why?
So what if you go to the meet and greet and it turns into a date? What if you go to the meet and greet and it's like, hey, well,
Listen, if you tell me I'm leaving in 30 minutes, I'm gonna hold you to it. I made this guy crazy. Like, yo,
Why?
because that's it. You got 30 minutes.
so if you went out on a
Your
date
time
and he told
starts
you, well, we
now.
got an hour. We're going on a date for an hour. So after the hour, you're like, look, I'm done. You told me this date was an hour, I'm hitting it. Even if you ain't got your main course. Listen, let me tell you.
First of all, I don't think that those type of 30-minute dates are for that. It's like a little soda, a little drink, a coffee.
Mad at a coffee.
I'm
She's mad at coffee.
Listen, give me a $50 coffee card from Starbucks. I'll be happy.
But how many, we've seen like beautiful love stories where people met in a coffee shop. Like, what is the problem
Serendipity.
with coffee? Like, what's the problem with simplicity? Because what I'm trying to get to know is you,
That's it.
right? I go to Morton's. Hear me when I tell you, I'm more wondering, am I gonna get my lobster bisque
and
Ooh, I
make sure
love
that
a lobster bisque.
my steak is medium well. Like, my focus is not on necessarily so much of getting to know someone, because I'm in a setting where this is my yummy spot. This is my happy place. I want to do this. And what you saying?
You're putting all your senses into that.
Yes, because when they bring you a steak that don't require steak sauce,
Lobster
sis.
macaroni and
Yeah.
cheese is awesome.
exactly. So I feel like,
And the bread.
what's wrong with the simplicity of meeting someone at a neutral location?
You're right.
Hey, especially a first time meeting up, I would rather meet you for 30 minutes and see if we even have any chemistry, any vibe for each other. And then, yeah, next time we go out someplace nicer and do something different. But at least I know, you know what, I would enjoy your company over dinner. But if you go out to coffee with this guy,
You've spoken to this, but these are not blind dates.
they are, if it's the first time you've seen them
Face to face.
face to face.
But you've spoken enough to know the likes and dislikes.
No.
No, that's not
no,
true.
no,
I don't
that's not
think
true.
you ever
Oh
really
my
know
God.
someone
You
until
never-
you're sitting across from them or you see them face to face, because you can see their body
You know
language.
what?
You can
This
do.
is so perfect. God made me watch about 8 episodes of the show yesterday. What's today? Today's Monday. So it was Sunday. It's fine. It's okay for me to do that and watch 6 episodes. Okay,
Okay.
people? It's called Blind Love on Netflix. This is the freaking scenario. About 10 people, 10 men, 10 women, who
Okay.
speak between a pod. So they both have like a living room, and they're speaking between this wall, and they're dating each other for, I don't know if the span is a week. And before that week is over, they have to ask for someone to marry them. And that's kind of like after getting to know them blindly, and
Meaning they've
speaking
never
to them.
seen each other.
They've never seen each other. And then through the pod, they ask each other. The one asks each other to marry him, and from then is when they really meet. And then they went into like to Mexico for like a little pre-honeymooner, just getting to know each other in person. And then now they're in Atlanta in like an apartment, living in an apartment, and it's 40 days till the wedding. So this is like in a month and a half. These people have said yes, and now I'm at the episode where all the weddings are coming. But you wait till that moment if they're gonna be there or not. If they became a real good friend. If some of them are really gonna get married. If do some of them haven't even had sex and they just see each other as like a real good friend, you know, because they vibe. But that's it. The whole purpose of it. How things change when you actually see the person.
Exactly.
How things become different. Now there's this one dude, right? Poor guy. He's nice, handsome black dude. He's like, oh, because in my past, I used to be with men. That's what he says, right? That he used to be with men, and I don't want to be judged by that.
Right.
So he asked the girl to marry him.
You don't want to be judged.
He doesn't want to be judged by that, you know? He says that he asked the girl to marry him, and
Okay.
she was like all in love, like, cause you know, you feel their conversation, and you start seeing when someone wants to spend time and talking on the phone with someone, just liking their vibe. So they're there, like laying on their little living room and getting all happy, and then all of a sudden, he asks her to marry her. Okay, so now they go to the little hotel where they actually see each other in person. He tells her the truth, and she's like, oh, and he's like, oh, because in my past, I used to go with both sexes, and she's like, mad, like, you lied to me. You didn't tell me the truth. You deceived me. And he's like, oh, no one's ever been mad about it. No one's ever had a problem with it, he said. And all of a sudden, like, I was watching it, and then a fight broke out between both of them. That's the way they ended the relationship. He cursed her out, you know, and she left, and it was over. So that thing didn't work. Why? Because he didn't tell the truth from the beginning. But they supposedly fell in love through the pod. But then reality came in when they saw each other, when they started, being together in real life.
So,
But
I think that's
you
the
guys have to
value.
watch it because it's funny.
But I think that's the value in the face-to-face meeting. Before we go to the who gonna marry who scenario, I think it's important that you meet someone face-to-face, because there is something about the chemistry that happens between people when you meet them. It's like meeting new coworkers. You already kind of know from the jump who you're gonna be cool with, who's gonna be a good fit for you as a friend, a buddy at work, and who's just like, probably not.
because it's something in that chemistry that we draw from each other.
I mean, you guys don't remember like the hotlines when we were young?
Yes,
The
and
party
that was my
lines.
And
first
people will fall
dating
in love-
disaster. That
People
was
will
my
fall in
very
love through the
first.
phone.
That was my very first dating
I'm
disaster.
sorry, I could like fall in love with a voice. I mean, I
And I
remember one
did.
time a dude called me wrong number, and we spoke for weeks.
Oh my God.
And he started telling me, he's like, I think you're black. I think you're overweight, like because of my voice. Like he just started like naming things, just like figuring it out. It was funny, but we both didn't like each other for a while until he started like asking too many questions and feeling like we wouldn't be a fit. It was funny, but
So I think the meet and greets are actually
ridiculous.
I actually like the informal and the easiness of like I don't have a problem. Like I want to, like when I used to date online and. I hear a lot of people say now, especially women, it's so different and they have all these rules. And I'm like, you set your own rules. Set your own rules. You don't have to conform to what somebody else is doing. Like I would get guys that's like, oh, send me a pic of you right now. No, you send me a pic of you right now because you know what? I want to know if you're not catfishing me. How about you send me a pic? Just like you, I want to know what you look like, nigga, because I know I'm cute. So you send me that pic.
I think the meet and greet is a good idea for me because the reason why I don't date is because I don't like when a guy has expectations for me. And because a lot of times I feel like they're moving way too fast. So it intimidates me. So for a meet and greet, like we meet up at the, Dunkin' Donuts, Snappers, get a flop, you know what I'm saying? If we do something simple like that, I know I can walk away, either you're going to be my friend or you just don't click with me. I'd rather it be something that,
I'm with you.
And I'm not a
promising.
stuffy person. Like I just love to sometimes just be goofy and laugh, but just have stuff flow. On a date sometimes you're like nervous, like, oh my God, what do I wear? How do I look? Make sure you want to say the right things. But this is just easy. Let's just meet at Starbucks. We'll have some coffee. If we vibe, we vibe. If we don't, hey, it was nice meeting you, and we both go on about our way.
Perla is down for the deception.
I mean, I just, at this point in my life, I'm
Wow,
just so
Kina,
not
I
wanting
can't
to waste
believe you
my
right now.
time. I just don't want to waste my time. Like, and especially if,
you're not understanding about getting to know each other on a deeper level by having deeper conversations.
So
Right.
why can't
Without
you have
the-
that conversation
at a
over
meet and
coffee?
greet.
Explain to
can.
me, regardless. I
Because
sat in.
that sets that maybe, okay, whatever the five senses. If you're not using this one, you use the other ones and you're deeper, in
So you can only have a
concentrating
deep
about-
concentration when you're on a date, not a meet and greet? Is that what you're saying?
No, she's.
Yeah, because it's longer time. Huh?
But a meet and greet could turn into, listen, I met a guy at the beach. It was a meet and greet. We ended up staying there for 2 hours talking, people watching, walking up and down the beach. It was initially supposed to be like, oh, we're just going to meet here, blah, 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 quick. And we stayed for 2 hours. 2 whole hours. He was a cool dude. I didn't like him, but, he was cool. We had fun. Like, it was somebody I could hang out with, not anyone I wanted to date.
Right.
But I'd rather have done that than him spend his money and realize now you spent your money. Maybe you do expect something because you done spent $100 on his date, and I'm like, yo, peace, holla at your girl. I'd rather us do that and everybody go their separate ways.
I think there is something really simple and much more solid when we are kind of meeting on a neutral ground. Like, you ain't asking me to spend no money. I'm not asking you to spend no money. We just gonna stand here and talk. And if that means, so we get
I'm
a coffee.
thirsty.
We get a coffee, and
Buy
you're
me a
sitting,
drink.
and
I'm still buy you a drink.
we're sitting here and having coffee together. That coffee could turn into dinner. Like, you may say, hey, why don't we go, are you hungry? Because I'm starving. Let's
And
go
I've had
eat.
that happen before.
Like, that could
Yes,
easily
that's
happen. But I've been on a date that I wish just wanted it to end. It was taking them so long to bring the food, and this person I didn't want to be around, and now, because
You
I'm
definitely
so,
cannot hide your face.
I cannot. It is
If you
impossible.
don't like someone or don't
I
want to be
cannot.
somewhere.
So that's
are the
why
worst.
when someone says to me, I need you to do something, I have to know that I'm willing to do it. Because no matter how I try to pretend like I'm good with this, it's obvious that I'm not good with it. So I do everybody a favor and just, oh, okay, I'm not doing that. Because that's not who I am. But my worst dating experience was meeting somebody online and talking for weeks and like liking them, conversation, loving it. Finally we meet, I'm like nothing about you is doing anything for me right now. Like,
But what does that
You're
say about
so
us as humans?
mean, man.
what do you mean? Because attraction just is, right?
No.
It-
Yes.
It's not only
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Yes, you
Yes.
can't fake
The
it.
law of attraction is not about sex. The law of attraction is about what draws you in and what pushes you out. And
And if you're not physically attracted to someone, you're just not physically attracted to them.
No, but you can love other things about
you
people.
can.
Lies.
But okay, I believe that we vibrate, right? I believe that your senses and everything about your spirit vibrates,
What's my
right? So
spirit
you're
saying to
meeting
me?
your you are creating your spirit tribe as you move through your life. Because your spirit vibrates with people. This is how you get friends. This is how you get your people versus everybody else's people, right? That same rule applies
Your
to the people you
vibe
wind up in relationship with,
makes your tribe.
Christy, because I see you're not gonna get this.
No, wait. So you saying
Your
the
vibe creates your tribe.
creates your tribe.
Exactly.
And it's not you just get other people's tribe.
No. You just don't have one. Like everybody's not gonna be in your tribe, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
But you can't.
'Cause I
That
keep getting the
vibration
wrong ones,
is not
but
necessarily gonna
my vibration
happen.
is off.
You
My
need to calibrate.
Definitely my calibration is off or something because I keep getting the wrong tribes.
I think it's
sorry.
you. I don't
do
think it's the
too.
other
I
people.
think you the common damn denominator to all your shit, but you may
Is
not
it
want to.
time for a break? 'Cause
You may not be
the
there yet.
pettiness done came out again.
Okay, we can take a break.
I
my
think
friend.
that,
Some
but you know,
bull.
one thing, I think that we have made this dating thing very complicated. You know, it's not that hard, people. We make it so complicated. He has to take me out. It has to be this restaurant. She has to do this. She has to do that.
She
And
has to look like this. She has to
the
look
meet
like
and
that.
greet to me is simple. I do agree. I mean, you're just attracted to who you're attracted to.
Yes.
If you meet the person in person and you're not attracted to them, then it is what it is.
Let
That
me be
grows.
able to slide on.
That grows.
No,
No,
listen.
not
I
necessarily.
don't want to have to get in. You know how hard it is to put on Spanx? Does anybody
Boom.
know the difficulty, the amount of sweating and the
And
deep
then it-
breathing?
and then
And
it
then you got to sit
rolls.
on the side of the bed and you got to think about life before you could get up and get dressed.
The last time I thought about
Now-
life was getting a wax job, and I stopped doing it since then.
So when
been like a
you
year.
think about all the things that
cannot
you
be
do, exactly, to prepare for a date, but you're telling me it could be simple? We could just put on some jeans, t-shirt, we're going to go down here and get a flop. How easy is that? And if we digging each other, then the same way
It
you would
goes-
go out your way for your man of 20 years that you want to still put on lingerie and look extra pretty for when he come in the door, it's the same way you would do all that fancy Sephora shit that you was going to do anyway.
But you know what? In 2020, my expectations and my desires for relating has totally changed. Because I was the huge romantic person, and I wanted
Yes,
this, I
she
wanted that.
was.
But now, I just want somebody that's gonna make me laugh and be my best friend. That's all I want.
Rub my booty while I'm trying to go to sleep. Like, do
And
something.
you learn
I
that
like.
about the person without the physical attraction, because you get to know them on other levels by
Right.
speaking
And
to
then
them
when
and
you
having
When
another
you're
because there's other
vibrating.
things and other than
Because
attraction.
you're vibrating. It's
Yeah,
still
but
attraction.
there has to be
It's not
something.
about necessarily the physicality.
Right, and which is why the show works.
If you
or-
say so. I want to see
No.
the
But
end.
just like they
I
have,
see.
you ever seen Marriage at First Sight? They don't even see each other until their wedding day.
Oh, I watched
And
that.
then
this
they
past
have
That's
week.
their
different. That's a
expectation
little
of each
crazy.
other. It's crazy.
I mean, that's
They-
very crazy.
they're like,
This one's
"Oh,
a little crazy.
I
But you
want to
wanna
be
know
in
what?
love. I want this. I
That
want
show
that.
brings out people's trauma real quick.
Yeah.
Because by the third date, everybody all pissed off about what they fear is
How
going
do
to
you
happen
not
in
like
their
me?
marriage.
You don't like me, and you're my husband, and you're supposed to understand that I'm not gonna have sex with you right away. Really?
First, you ain't gonna get to being my husband if we ain't smashed.
Boom! You gotta
That's
test
Savage
drive.
life. Hashtag.
You have to.
But I'm
test
saying
I'm
this on the
gonna-
show that you get married first.
Yeah, no. We
Before
ain't
you do
marrying
anything.
first.
What?
You gonna
get
take that
married
car out
first
for a
before you
drive.
do
There you
anything.
go.
You gotta do something, because what if it
Even
doesn't
sex?
work?
Yeah, this first day they meet is on their wedding
Oh, on
day
that
at
show.
the altar.
I thought
Yeah.
you were
And
saying
some
like
of them
those
don't have
women,
sex.
like you don't have sex till your wedding night.
Sex is
Some
important.
people do.
Yeah.
Okay,
Some
well,
people do.
Good luck with
Does
that.
that mean the
Intimacy.
pressure's on the guy?
It's on
I think it's on
everybody.
both of you. It's on both
I
of you.
care about, like, I'm a big girl. I care about my poses, my positions in sex. If my boob done went under my armpit, that's probably not hot. Like, cause
Man, let me tell you
if
something.
it's under my armpit,
They don't be
it
care
may
about
not-
that.
I care. It's
I don't
not,
care about
I
that.
care. If it's
Really?
not hot, if it ain't looking hot, I do care.
No.
So I practice. I put the mirror where I could see things If I hold my leg like
girl's
this,
crazy.
if I put the leg
Nobody
over
got
here,
time for that.
if I'm in this
Lay
position,
down. Whatever fall, let it fall wherever it may. And let's get on here and get this
They don't
business.
care.
yeah, I don't know about that. I don't
Yes.
know how I feel about that.
Absolutely.
But you know how you feel about pumping gas?
Yes.
I don't like to work in the bedroom. I'm sorry.
Oh, you a pillow princess.
Oh, yes.
Oh, me
What-
too.
wait, what? I don't like
Y'all
to
lazy
work.
big girl. Go to break. We going to break.
Why? It's getting good.
We going to break. We going to break.
I mean, sometimes I don't
Oh
like
my
doing
God. Let's just go to
Depends.
break.
Is it just me and you?
I'm gonna
It's
write
just
that. I
us.
can't even say this what
Oh
I've been
my
called.
God, you don't know, you can't have lazy sex.
Let's go to
Sometimes you
break.
can.
Let's just
Sometimes
go
you
to
don't
break.
feel like all
The
that.
only time that I need lazy sex is for him to lay there and let me do slow and
That's
slow
ridiculous.
No,
That's
sometimes
exactly what
you
it
just
is.
be like,
That's
you don't
all
be,
it takes.
sometimes you just don't feel like it. Sometimes you just do not feel
Then
like
just
it.
don't do it. But
No,
don't,
no, no, no. He gonna do something.
No.
I'm just not gonna
See,
do all
that's
that
your-
tonight.
No, but that's the problem with some of you women. You always want a man
I just
to
wanna go to
always
break.
please you. No, you have
We'll
to
be
please.
back.
I didn't say I'm a please him sometimes, but
JB, just go to
sometimes
break. 'Cause
just
they gonna
like
keep talking.
sometimes
Hang
men
it up.
don't want to do nothing.
This is
Sometimes
a
I don't want to
ridiculous
do
mess.
nothing.
The hell you mean you gonna lay up
Easy.
there being a big lazy girl?
Easy.
She need to listen to Ball Green.
Easy.
Just go ahead and just go to break because that's
Easy.
Can I
ridiculous.
get a request?
Do it easy.
Smoke of Dior? No.
No.
You need to put that song. This is what I've
Ball
been accused
greasy.
of.
So we'll be back.
If we put that on,
Okay.
Paula,
Dior.
Yeah, we
if we
want.
put
Just go to
that
break.
on, we need you to twerk.
throwing
my
it back.
knees.
Okay, we are
My
back.
knees don't work
Okay,
like
wait,
that.
let's be back.
It's not your knees I'm asking you to throw, homegirl.
Wait a minute, we back, okay? Remember,
I'm gonna put
YouTube,
lipstick
the
on.
Curve Unplugged,
Okay.
and call us 954-769-1562. So, before we left, we were talking about being a lazy.
Well, it ain't
Screw.
lazy.
If you're not doing
A
nothing.
pillow princess.
I mean, I can say sometimes when I'm tired, I don't want to do nothing. I just want to lay there. That's not all the time, but sometimes, yeah. And sometimes I don't mind if my man just lay there. But sometimes,
No.
I just want to lay there.
What you mean?
But
No.
So Perla, when you say you do nothing,
If he doesn't do nothing and I don't do nothing, what are we doing?
Watching Netflix and chilling for real.
Nah. Somebody gotta do something.
so Perla, so nothing?
Very rarely. Look, the thing about it is, okay, doggy style. My knees. I cannot sit on them like that. And
Even
I
in
can't-
the
And then
bed?
moving back, yeah, it's still uncomfortable for me. I'm sorry.
But you can kind of,
We're gonna get you some knee pads.
right?
Look up for some knee pads
Or
like
a knee brace.
for soccer. Yeah, you up there. Well, you looking like iRobot in the bed, but you gonna get it
So you
together.
just need to push it back, and then it'll come back like it's
But
like
you
a
can
wave.
throw. But you can
See?
actually throw.
Or you can or what about on the side of the bed where you put your leg up on the side of the bed and he's behind you?
Yeah, I could do a little bit.
Okay.
Thank you.
But
for
do you
giving me
throw
an
it
out.
back?
Yes, I could a little bit. She helped me out there.
Because
She
I'm
threw
a little
bone
bit
at me. I
ashamed.
just said, thank you, baby.
I'm a little ashamed right now that you.
The
sat
one with the
here.
biggest ass here.
Exactly.
That is an embarrassment. I'm
It
so
is.
sorry, guys.
And you.
You know,
like
I
it,
grew up in
and
I
you-
grew up in LA though, and there was
What
no
does that
Dominican
mean?
people around me to teach me how to. My mom has 2 left feet. You know, I was raised by a white Jewish guy. I mean, come on.
You got a
I did
big
not have that.
Dominican booty.
Yes.
That you have
and
no excuse.
No.
And
I
you got
only grew up around
YouTube.
Mexicans.
You got YouTube,
They throw it.
Netflix.
They throw it back.
Not back then. I used
Yeah,
to
they
listen
did.
to oldies. No.
But okay, but you wasn't
Those
having
oldies
a lot of
but
sex back
goodies.
then. Like you are now grown as hell,
Okay.
and you can go to Pornhub and figure this out.
I like porn.
I only learned about Pornhub like 3 years ago. How old is it?
I don't know how old it is,
Well,
but
that's
you
still
can
enough
take-
time. That's enough time.
You had
to
3
learn
years to
something.
figure out how to do doggy style, friend.
What? Take it from the.
There's a
back.
lot of things that I want to learn. That's not one of it.
So basically,
Squirting is one of them.
that's just pissing.
That is not pee.
It's just pee.
It
It's
is
just
not
pissing.
pee. It
Who
is
could teach
woman
me?
in- I can.
You could pee on yourself. You don't need no help
It's
with that.
not pee.
It's pee.
It's not pee.
I find it good.
I want to learn how to do that. That's
Y'all,
for me.
I need somebody to call in and tell us if it's pee. It's
It
pee.
is not.
I'm
pee.
telling
It
you
is
that
the
it's
best
pee.
feeling in the world.
I'm telling you it's pee.
It is not.
But if
pee.
you want to just be a pissy bitch, go ahead. It's pee.
It's not pee. It is not even yellow. Your bed is
It's
not stained.
pee.
It is.
Hey!
It's pee.
Excuse me.
It's pee.
I've only squirted a couple of times. I don't squirt with everybody.
Y'all got old
I can't
bladders.
even pee after sex. It ain't pee.
It's pee. It's pee.
It is not.
I assure
okay.
you it's pee. I've talked to a doctor. It's pee. It is not even coming out of the hole you think it's coming
Okay,
out of.
you know what,
It is coming out of your pee hole, and the only thing comes out of the pee hole is pee.
Well, look
It's
at this
pee,
way.
friends.
If there's nothing wrong with a little pee in everybody's life. I mean, there's pee and cum. So if you get if cum comes in your mouth, which is a good thing, you got a little pee there too. So
I
what's
love
the
how
problem?
Chrissy talks about these things like a true professional.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Cause
I
she
am a
is.
She
soul
is.
snatcher.
She's a boho ho.
I am a soul snatcher. I am so sorry.
I thought we were the bubble holes.
Well, today y'all the first lady.
Can you guys see my beads?
I can't
know.
believe, but I don't understand. How can you be a lazy screw?
I'm not
I
lazy.
thought we were away
I
from
am
the
not
subject
lazy.
already.
No, I'm still confused.
What my hips don't do, my neck makes up for it. Okay.
Boom!
Hey.
I'm done.
Usually that's what it is. Guys have told me
Hey.
that. When you're better at oral, and even with men too, they're not so good at sex per se. Most men that are very good at oral are not that great at at having sex.
Totally
And so I've had to
Totally
build a
disagree.
strength
Oh.
by doing something else.
Wait,
Totally.
what was that? You said most men that are not good at oral are
Great in bed, but if they're
That
great
is true though.
with their penis,
Yeah.
they're not
It's
good
One
in
or the
bed.
other.
Oh,
That's
I'm
not
sorry,
true.
I'm speaking for myself.
Oh,
That's lies.
lies.
That's
I'm
lies.
speaking for myself.
Not only,
That's all of y'all. I've been with you.
But
y'all
you know
what I'm
what?
talking about then.
at the end of the day, you're always good at what you enjoy doing.
That's true.
So if you
And I
enjoy
enjoy doing
giving
it.
oral, then you're
Right.
going to be great at it. If you don't enjoy throwing it back, then you're not going to be good at that. I mean, seriously.
I wasn't taught.
You've been watching Pornhub for 3 years. I'm sure you've seen it.
But you can't throw it back for everybody.
Why?
Some people got too much meat. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Nobody got time for that.
that's a different thing, though.
No, you see,
That's
this
a
is
different
why
thing.
we are what y'all call lazy fucks because we understand. We just might not be that damn deep.
Exactly. Thank you,
But
baby.
that's not everybody
Not
you
me.
meet.
I don't like that.
That's not everybody you meet.
Every woman want a deep stroke.
No, I don't know about that.
I mean, I think there's a limit to all things.
Ow.
And I've seen some things that look like it need
Wait,
a limit
first
on it.
of all, you got an ass out of this world.
What's up to
It
do
ain't
with
gonna,
it?
it's
I don't
not,
like
it's
anal
not
sex.
all gonna get there.
I don't
like
He done
anal
got
sex.
you all the way down.
No, we're not talking about anal
That's not
sex.
true because they can spread that out like a
That's what I'm saying.
butterfly,
That's it.
and then you get all that
How do
pressure.
you know?
Wait, but first
No,
of
they
all,
gonna lose some of
she
it in
don't-
the fact that
she
you got that much
don't-
blood.
You're gonna at least lose
You gonna
1
lose
to
some
2
of it.
inches.
But it's still enough.
Wait, see
With
what she
all,
talks
this,
like?
with
She's
all
like-
that ass that's in front of me, I'm sorry, people.
Not if he get up under there. When you get up under there,
She's a lazy screw. She's not doing all that.
that's right. You get up under there.
So that man is
all
exhausted
that
by the time he
pressure.
does. First of all,
First of all, I saw this meme the other day with a little skinny dude with a seatbelt across. He's like, he got his seatbelt on, he's tied on. Okay, he's holding on dear life for this ride. Okay. He's like,
Okay, I
yeah,
don't
the
wanna
meme
talk
said,
about
"You
this
ready
no
for
more."
this? A lot. It's a lot." He's like, okay. I like that picture. That shit
But
was funny.
it is, there are some men out there that do both things correctly. They eat
Well.
and they screw well, and then they, you know how they screw up? They ration it out. They won't give it to
Ration
you.
out the what?
The head and the dick, they won't give it to you. They try to teach you a lesson. And you know what? I don't like those type of people. So therefore, I want to change this conversation and move on.
She sounds like she's speaking like from
personal
experience.
experience.
I am. I'm being punished
You
because
need to talk to somebody.
Yes, I do. People out there,
Coach Keish?
I'm being punished right now. I'm being punished. I've been punished for the past 3 weeks, and I don't understand this bullshit. I don't understand this, and I don't feel that it's right.
I mean, this is where I think things just have taken a terrible turn for the worse.
They became women.
You know, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying like, you know, we've all gotten so selfish in our relationships that we don't realize that we're equally each other's gift. You know, like it's not just you know, women who want to withhold sex from the man, make him suffer. Women have done that for years, and now men are withholding penis from women to
In
make
the
them
head.
suffer. And you know, why have we gotten so selfish in our relationships that we don't want to give?
I don't
Why?
understand. I mean, I still give.
Do you
when
need
I'm
to
mad.
apologize?
No,
for something?
I'm not apologizing for nothing. Nothing. As long as
Continue to suffer.
I have C batteries, I'm good. It doesn't do exactly what the the other one do, but it gets me through the day.
I have a great vibrator. I really do. But I will admit I miss human touch. I miss like all of the holding and touching and grabbing and kissing most especially. I miss that so much.
Oh my
Like
God.
the
the
vibrator
best.
will get you an orgasm, yes, but it doesn't get you intimacy.
No,
and that's
it
what I
does
miss.
not.
And how we gonna start these meet and greets? That's
Huh?
how we get there.
What?
The meet and greets. That's how we
You
gonna
better
get
stop
there.
talking about meet and
You
greets because
gotta
I'm gonna.
have a meet and greet,
There
right?
you go.
Because there's nothing wrong with that.
I want you to get
So
one of these
fellas,
apps, one of these applications, and you want to
guys,
go.
we-
You're
we-
gonna go on a date.
We want some meet and greets, okay? If you're down for a meet and greet, hit us up, hit our DMs up.
Well, everybody can't go. Like Christy, I don't know why she raised her hand.
I just want to, just
I
watch
can't
and
go
make sure
either.
everything's going correctly.
You want to do what?
She wants to watch. She's
make
a
sure-
voyeur. She wants to watch and make sure things are going correctly.
Oh.
I could see Christy stopping people in the middle of sex. Sweetheart, stop right there.
You're not doing it
You're
right.
doing that wrong.
Really?
I could see her doing that.
That's embarrassing.
I don't
You
see
think
her
so?
Doing that.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
You're not talking dirty enough. You're not saying it right. So yeah, I will stop. I follow instructions.
She's gonna be in there like a scientist. Well, if you just move a little bit to the left, you're gonna find
You know what?
this.
You're not doing it right. Just let me show
Just
you.
go.
Let me show you how to do it right, and
Oh
then you
my
go ahead
It's
and
got
do
to
it.
be a 90-degree angle.
Right now, you're at like a 45.
Oh my God.
I could see her doing that. Absolutely.
Can't pay. No, that's embarrassing.
So anyhow, meet and greets. I think. Do we kind of everybody vote yes, with the exception of Perla?
Yes.
Everybody's yes.
I love it. I've done it.
Everybody that says yay. What is it?
Everybody's saying yes, that meet
Except
and
for
greet
you.
is a good idea, with the exception of you.
No.
You're the only one.
I don't know why I want some Popeye's chicken.
'Cause
Can you
you're
stop
hungry.
talking about
Okay,
food?
let's move on.
Yeah,
Now,
y'all
I
not
wanna.
hungry.
Do
Y'all
you
hungry.
feel that
Stay hungry.
you're more unapologetic these days than you've been in the past? Like I think back when I first met you, Perla, you
Oh,
really seemed very
goodness.
accommodating to people. You seem like,
Oh.
you were always very like, okay, no problem, whatever it takes, let's just everybody be happy.
Mhm.
But lately, I'm getting this, yeah, we're gonna do it my way, or we just ain't fucking doing it. Like, I've been getting that
Well,
vibe.
you know
from you.
what? I think I've always been like that because it depends who in my family or friends that have known me long enough will get that part of me. So I don't think we knew each other long enough to have gotten. I know for you two, you guys really got to see me like us spending 8 hours in a car going to Atlanta back
Right.
and forth and 3 days, 4 days together. So you're like, oh, okay, Perla's not as nice as she fucking seems.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Which
Absolutely.
is fine, because I'm like, I never claimed that I was. I'm nice because I'm being nice, and if I don't want to be nice, I'm not gonna be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's funny that you say that, but you know, that's
Okay.
why people. It's like if I go off, they're like, Perla, that's not you. Like you're not even that freaking like, you're not that much of a thug. You know, if I want to say a bad word or like curse or be mad, like I'm not allowed to be mad. No, I get mad. Trust me. You know, so I
Okay.
think that's what it was. Just it wasn't
Okay.
time yet, or it just hadn't happened.
Mm.
I am truly less apologetic these days. I'm more to the let's get to the end of this type person. Because I feel like at this point in my life, there's more days behind me than in front of me, right? I'm 46 now. I'm not saying I'm dying tomorrow. I'm just saying like I'm at that place in my life where either this works or it just doesn't. And the moment it occurs to me, it just doesn't work out. Like I'm done. I'm not angry like I used to be. I'm not trying to figure out what didn't make it work. And I don't know how long I've ever stopped needing closure on a lot of things. The closure is, it don't work. Close it. That's where I'm at. So I think that my personality has pretty much been pretty even. Like this is the Keisha you get. You get me this way at work. You'll get me this way out at a party. This is who I am. But I am just to that point in my life where it's like, either we good or we ain't good. And if I never speak to you again, I'm good, and I hope you're good too. But I used to need to see people hurt behind me leaving, or be angry because they look happy. Because like, how you happy and you ain't talking to me? But now, I wish you all the best. I just don't want to do this with you no more. And I'm glad to be in this space. And my grandmother said, one day you'll get there when you really, truly don't care. When you really, truly don't care about pleasing people all the time, or about trying to understand where everything has to have a meaning behind it. One day you'll wake up and you'll be okay not knowing all those answers. And I got there. So I feel good in my skin these days.
That's awesome.
Like I look at pictures, I was looking at a picture of me 4 years ago that I thought I was so freaking fat. And I'm fatter today than I was 4 years
you
ago
feel
on that
better
picture.
about yourself.
But I feel better about me today than I
Right.
did 4 years ago.
Right.
So yeah, I'm in a good place.
That's
Good
good.
place.
I'm happy for you, baby.
What about you, Keena?
Yes, I'm definitely unapologetic. I'm to the point where now I don't take anything personal anymore, and I don't let things get to me. I don't let things penetrate me to my soul like I used to. So
Penetrate you. I like
yeah.
that.
So now everything just rolls off my shoulders, and like I said before, I don't have a problem with saying no. Back in the days, I would feel bad about telling people no, but now I would tell you no straight up, because I am not inconveniencing myself for anybody, because I would never ask anyone else to inconvenience themselves for me. So my answer is no when I mean no.
Now let me ask you this real quick. The scenario: we're all at the club, we all hung out. The end of the night comes. We're in the beach. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I came in an Uber. I ask you, will you take me home? What do you say?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Because
I had a friend that
for
said
me,
no.
that's not an inconvenience.
I had a friend that said no, and I took an Uber.
So even when we
So that was
ride-
crazy. It's
even
like,
when we ride
how can you
together,
say no and we chilling? Like we're supposed to
Well,
be good.
is she
We're
really
like,
a friend?
well, I don't know. I have
There
to
you go.
and
question
even
that now.
when we ride together, we check in on each other. Like, let me know you made
Right.
it home.
But
Let me know.
3
you,
of them like we're drunk.
But how do
at the
you?
end of the night.
I couldn't go home at the end of the night
2.
knowing that you had to figure out an Uber to get home. Especially with this whole human trafficking thing,
Right.
like it's a really serious big deal. It further proves why I should not be pumping gas, but it's a real serious situation that's happening. And I don't want my friend out here figuring out how to get home if
Oh my
I
God,
had a
my girlfriends
means by
that were
which
so apologetic the
take
rest of
you
the
home.
week. It was so crazy.
This thing really bothered you.
Oh yeah, because it's
But
like.
did you
I'm-
tell the person? Did you
No, I
have a talk
didn't.
with them?
I didn't. I
So
didn't
why not?
because unfortunately, so many people are so done with her and that type of behavior throughout the years that I don't know if it's necessarily tolerate because we do love her because we've known each other for so long, but it's like she's there in the group and we love her, but then it's like everybody stays to themselves and doesn't really mess with her like they used to. Like let's go out, let's go eat, let's go drink, let's whatever. But if we're all getting together as a big group, then she's there. So I mean, I just know. Like I knew before, but I know. One year we ended up in California at the same time, and I had gone to. We all went to. I was Malibu or Santa Monica, I don't know. And they rented a car. She had a car. She went with her kid, and I'm there with the same place with you, and I need to go back to LA. And she didn't give me a ride. She's like, oh, the bus, whatever. So I already knew from then that, I didn't take it personal. We didn't come together. We didn't come to this trip together, but we know each other. And we were like, oh, you're here, I'm here too. And we chilled like for days. You know what I'm saying? So we know each other that well.
Maybe,
But
honestly,
it's just,
it's
crazy,
crazy, but it may not have occurred to her. Like,
I think that it doesn't. I'm like, poor girl, like, does she know that there's something wrong with that? I was like, she was just grew up very spoiled, like only child, and when I hear Kina say, oh, no is no, I'm like, yeah, for some people it really is, like, without thinking of others and thinking, hey, what makes you my friend if I can count on you on the ride home one day
but it could
after
be,
all hanging out,
but it could honestly be that it just never occurs to her that she is being self-centered. I think that
She
in
told
the
me
way
she was tired.
in the way we
No, I'm
grow
sorry, I'm
up,
tired.
in the way a lot of us grow up, is you just know what you know. Like what's common for you and what's comfortable to you is just that. In her world, there was nothing wrong with it. You asked, I gave you an answer.
Right.
But until someone has a conversation with her and says, hey, this thing that you do, it really bothers me. Because as a friend, I would not have done that to you. Now, she may still come back with, well, it was just out of my way and I was tired. She may feel that way about it. But at the same token, you may be surprised at what she would say if she realized that it was bothering you.
Okay, I'm gonna think about it because I feel like really, that people can do better if they're told. I believe
Exactly.
that.
I mean, they get to make a
believe
choice. Now
I
you
believe
know
that,
if she's
absolutely.
making a choice from an educated place or she's just that type of person. Like, Nikki grew up in a more affectionate household than I did. So now she has to remind me sometimes, like, I didn't hug her or whatever. It's not because I don't care enough about her to hug her, but I didn't grow up doing
I'm like
so
that
much of
too.
that.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to communicate it. Until you do, you can't assume the person is just blowing you off. You have to tell her what's about. Now, once you talk to her and she says whatever it is she's going to say, then you just got to accept it for what it is.
Right.
I believe that people show up to be a mirror for us sometimes. And maybe she's there to show you that you really need to start saying no sometimes. Think about that.
Oh, damn, she comes up with good ones, man.
Kina's
Damn,
deep.
girl, who's-
Deep.
Kina's deep.
I thought I was.
I'm just saying.
But I agree with you 110%.
Yeah, no, her face is like she was like, wow, it's true. That was like a deep
Absolutely.
one. Yeah.
Like I don't think that.
That's true.
I don't
It's
think
like I do this from you, I do that for you, and look how you treat me. You're right. So it's you only can control yourself at the end of the day.
And
Control
anybody who
yourself.
doesn't know what's bothering you can't be held accountable to it.
Right?
Absolutely.
Same thing in relationships with our partners. When we're telling our partner, well, you don't do this for me. If you've never communicated, I need you to do this. Like as elementary as that may sound, it is imperative that you're clear about what it is that you need exactly. Because we only love the way we know how to love. Your expectation and what I know how to do are easily two different things.
Right.
But if you tell me, Keisha, you do this thing and it's bothering me, and then I do nothing about it, then I made a choice. I've had people tell me, well, you know, I ain't never dealt with nobody like you. I need you to tell me. Then I tell you, and you still do the exact opposite. Yeah, we done with this conversation. Because you've already shown me that even after I express to you what I need, give you time, show you, you're still not going to do it. You've made a decision. And again, it adds to my whole, unapologetic, we're good from here, because I did not enter into this with you, this friendship, this relationship, assuming you knew what I needed to be happy. I told you.
Right.
And if something bothers you, you have to express that. So, go ahead, Coach Keena.
Keena boy comes up with good
She
ones.
does, she does.
Jesus.
I am well studied.
You remember when Keena first became a part of the team, Keena's big thing was she needed closure. Do you remember this?
I still
Like,
do.
I remember when she was just like, I'm not budging till I get this closure. But I see you moving forward even without it.
am.
I'm not saying you don't want it. I'm saying that you found a means to move forward even without it, because you were so closed off to anything else. Like, until I get an answer on this,
I don't want to do nothing.
we're gonna
else.
sit right here. And then when I get that answer, then maybe I'll think about it. You may not have gotten the answer, but you did find a way to still move forward. I still say closure is yours. It's yours.
I'm 99.2.
But they're gonna come back and apologize
there.
one day.
One day.
I believe
I've
that.
never seen them not, to be totally honest
Okay,
with
thank you
Well,
very much.
They always, it
You
always,
will apologize to me one
it
day.
always, and it may not even come to you directly like that, but
It has.
I
But yeah.
remember in one situation, someone that I went to school with, like, came to me to tell me, like, all the torment somebody else went through about me, but they never told me that. He was like, oh, let me tell you what happened to my boy. He was messed up about you. This, that. And I was like, are you serious? Because he didn't look like none of that was bothering him. He was like, I only know it because he told me, But everything he said, was back in fact.
Right.
So I think, again, I had already moved on past the situation, but it does warm your heart.
It does.
It does do a little heartwarming when you find out that they ain't just out partying. They thought about it. Because we all do. Like, did you ever mess up in a relationship, Perla?
No, I've been perfect.
You've been, I need to introduce you to Yolanda, because some other purpose.
Really?
Yeah.
I've been perfect.
Yeah.
I went with this item.
I gotta introduce you. Y'all gotta meet. Nick, have you ever messed up in a relationship? Nikki Dallas?
Yes,
Messed up. It depends who's looking. I mean, come on.
I have.
Come
Well,
on. Wait, I gotta find it.
probably.
Next.
So you can't recognize if you did or didn't? You're not sure?
I mean,
It depends who's looking, you see? It depends who's looking. Who's taking this
I guess
assessment?
I wouldn't consider it as being messed up. So,
So you're gonna say no.
I'm going to say, I mean, I've done things that people might not have agreed with or like, but I don't consider it as being messed up.
Listen to this. Listen to this. If your wife is out sleeping with other dudes while you're at home in bed with your wife, you don't need her. Hashtag know your worth. That's what this reminds me of.
I'm so done with this shit.
So Nikki doesn't know if she ever messed up anything.
No, I don't think I've actually
So that's
messed
why
up a
it's
relationship.
confusing. That's why it's confusing. That's the type of scenario. Did I really mess up? I didn't really do nothing to you. You got a whole wife. Leave me alone. The hell?
Because, I just believe that if, you know, I believe if two people are willing, you can work through anything. And I just don't believe I've messed up anything to the point where, no, I don't.
Mm.
She's
Hashtag
not
know your worth.
convinced. Well, she's not me. And she ain't even been in my relationships. She's not convinced either.
You see this?
I do. I'm watching this.
Okay.
So let me ask Chrissy, because maybe you on Earth today. Have you ever messed up in a
Yes, I
relationship?
have.
You have?
Yes, I have.
Did you learn from your mistakes?
Yes, I did.
You don't become an expert without making mistakes, okay?
That's your nickname. Expert. Right? She's called you expert twice. She's called you that name twice. That's funny.
Yes,
I'm the queen.
I have messed up in a relationship, and
I'm
yes, I
sorry.
did learn. You know, I realized that at an early age, and that's what I'm saying. At an early age, I expected something that a person wasn't able to give
I
me
found this
at
on the
that
web.
time. You did? I expected something from a person who couldn't give it to me at the time, and they told me to just give them a chance to, you know, just wait. And I was impatient, and I said no, and I left. And what happened? They gave it to the next one.
Are we talking about that ball?
No.
Okay. Okay.
No. That was way before that.
Okay. Okay.
So therefore, I could have been married with kids and all this stuff, but
But see, I don't consider stuff like that messing up. I just think things are just happen because they're supposed to happen.
no, I mean, I can admit to myself that I was very selfish. I can be a very selfish person, and I was very vindictive, and I did stuff that I shouldn't have done because I wanted it then and now, and I didn't want to hear nothing else about it. And they didn't. They gave me everything I wanted, but they just didn't give me what I wanted right then and there. So if you couldn't give it to me right then and there, just go away.
Okay.
And I went to something else thinking it will be better,
And it wasn't.
but it was worse. And so once I left, it was like, what could I do? You know,
Okay.
got to take that L and go.
Right. Well, I'll admit I've totally messed up more than once and learned a lot about myself, a lot about being in relationships. I agree with Nikki that there's nothing that two people who want to work it out is nothing they can't get through. There's absolutely nothing. You name it, they can get past it if both the parties are willing to do the work. Totally agree with that. At the same token, I feel like we can shape a person's willingness to work with us by how much pressure we put on them to give us what we want right when we want it, or them asking us for something and us refusing or being stubborn about giving it, or they apologize but you got to keep reminding them where they messed up at. Like, you know, yeah, you said sorry, but the last time, if you've accepted the apology, it is not human nature that we let it go, but we're supposed to be able to move past it as if it never happened. You know, but we don't typically do that, and I know I've done a lot of not doing that in a lot of my relationships.
Move like it never happened. You move past it, but you know that it always happened. And you have to remember so that you don't get to that point again.
Well, while that may be true to some degree, I think that the fact that we hang on to it is we hang on to it as ammunition for the next time you do something I don't like. And now I'm going to come back to that other thing that we've already talked about, supposedly worked out, and put away. Now I'm bringing you back. How many times do I need to bring you back to this thing that we've already discussed?
But when I say remember it, because when you remember it, you know, hey, we're going down the same path we were before. Not to so much throw it up in your face, but these are the same symptoms, or these are the same
It may not
activities
be, though,
that happened when we went to that place before, and I don't want to go back to that place, so let's fix this now before we get back there.
Agreed, but I think in that sense, you're using it more as reference to the lesson, right? But what I'm talking about is, okay, something as simple as forgot to take the garbage out. Now, next thing they do, they didn't put gas in the car. You're gonna go back to the garbage not getting taken out. So you're not letting, he ain't never messed up and not took the garbage out again. This time, forgot to put gas in the car. But you went back to the garbage being taken out because that's now you're creating your list of, here's all the stuff about you I just don't like.
This ain't right.
You know, it's not so much as you're going down the same path again and the same thing is happening. We on a whole different thing. I thought you mad at me over the gas, but you telling me about what happened last Easter at your grandma's house. Like, we have to understand the amount of damage it does to our relationships when we continue to just rehash and rehash and rehash something that your partner thinks that we've already worked out.
That's nagging.
That is very naggy, and that's insecurity on your behalf, because the fact that a lot of us are trying to avoid making the same mistake or falling for the okie doke or got to get the getters before I get got, because we're so busy trying to avoid that, we can't let go of anything. We just hold on to it, we tuck it away, and then the minute something else happens, and we bring that card back to the table. Realistically, in a relationship, shit is gonna happen. We're not gonna like each other every single day.
Sure ain't.
I'm not gonna do everything you like the way you like it, and you ain't gonna do everything I like the way I like it every single time. But if we keep bringing everything you did wrong, I just laundry listed out every time I'm mad about a new thing, where do we get in this relationship? And I have beaten people into submission with that. You did all this wrong to me, and look how wonderful I was to you. It doesn't, the relationship can't survive like that. So yeah, I've messed up.
I think that getting past trauma, the best way to get past trauma would be through relating. So when we think about relationships and long-term things, should we be willing to love each other through our trauma? You know, because if you're alone and there's no one there to challenge you, you really don't actually tackle those things.
Good question.
If that's your person. If that's not your person,
How do we
then
know it's not our person?
I mean, I think that through a lot of soul searching within yourself, knowing yourself, being able to be honest and truthful with yourself, which is hard for a lot of us. Even knowing what you want, because a lot of us don't know what we want.
That's doing the work.
Yeah,
the
for
inside work.
yourself.
Right.
For yourself. You can't expect anyone to come into your life and you just do nothing. Like, you have to have all that instilled in you, and it does require a lot of work on your part.
I just think about my younger self and how I would be willing to just walk away when things got uncomfortable for me because I didn't like this characteristic in this person or whatever. But it's like, if that's the case, you'll be running for the rest of your life because
course,
everybody's
that's
gonna
true.
come with some level of trauma, and we just have to be willing to help each other get past it. As long as it's not abuse, physical, verbally, mentally, as long as it's not abuse or disrespect, I think that, you know, the healthiest thing to do is just to love somebody through that, to get them past it.
I agree. You got some nuggets tonight.
When it's working for you,
nuggets.
yes. When it's good for you and good to you, but when it's not, regardless, let it go.
I just feel like I'm
Let
one of
it
those
go.
women that, you know,
Absolutely.
I hear a lot of women
Leave the
on
mic
TV
right
say, I never had somebody that would just stick with me through my shit. And I feel like I'm one of those women. Like, I've never had somebody that just say, you know, I don't care. I will be here for you. I'll be here with you.
But do you think that you push them away with half of the stuff that you do? Because
I don't know.
you earlier started
I'm
saying
not gonna
something like
say
that, right?
I don't, because outside looking in, things look totally different. And being single, I get to watch a lot of people, and then I was like, I used to do that shit. Like, damn, like that's not cool. Like, you know. So I'm in the observation chair, and I'm realizing like the things that we do sometimes. It's us. It's just us.
One of the worst things that I've done is the long ass text message. Let me tell you something, ladies.
Ay, la Biblia,
You
the
wanna
Bible,
you
man.
wanna put a period at the end of something. write a long ass text message because 90% of the time he ain't
They
gonna
don't
even
read
read
it.
all that.
They don't.
The moment they open it, they're just overwhelmed with what the fuck.
They don't. They
Right?
delete it right away. And then I didn't read it.
Exactly.
Did you read my text?
And then I've seen women who get mad because the dude would like pick up the phone and call and be like, "Man, what's going on with you?" Because he didn't read
I
the
just
message,
wrote you
right?
all
But I
this
just
shit.
told you everything that I was thinking and feeling and all
I'm that dude. I
Right.
don't like long. My friend, don't send me no long nothing. I'm not reading that mess. I ain't got time for that.
No.
Oh, my
And if you don't have
goodness.
an
So funny.
Apple device, then a lot of times it comes in piecemeal. So you writing this long message, it's like 1 of 3,
Oh,
3 of
no.
2,
That's you guys?
5 of 7, 7 of 1.
God, Androids
So
are the best.
nobody wants your long ass text message, like for real, for real. And that is the worst.
Even your girlfriend.
Nobody.
Don't send me no long text.
Nobody wants that long
I ain't
text
reading
Do you
message.
know how long it takes us to articulate?
I don't care.
Oh, my God.
Don't
do.
send it to me. Don't.
Because
I
I've
ain't
written
reading
them. I've written those long messages. So I do know how long it takes. How many times you gotta, that ain't the right word, backspace. And then with autocorrect fuck you up and you backspace
You
it.
gotta go
Oh
up.
my
Yeah.
God.
Once you send it, it's not what you actually wrote.
Exactly.
You be like, damn.
So I even thought I could get around it by using the voice to text. But then the voice
You
to
gotta fix
text
the whole
says
thing.
you gotta
It's
fix the whole
worse.
thing. But it just
much
it
work.
doesn't help. And most times it makes it worse. Because then you wrote your whole life story out on a text message, right? You sent it. They
And you can't take
received it.
back.
They asked you what's
That's
up.
why what's up is good.
Now you gotta go to your message and read it again because now he on the phone. So you gotta tell him all the shit that's in the text message. What's wrong with just picking up the phone?
No one does that.
Baby, I
these
just
days.
we need to talk.
It's
I need
Yes,
to talk
we
to you.
do.
Can we talk about this? Something that's bothering me, I wanna talk to you about it. Versus sending that long message.
You know why? Because then you'll get that look. They do that dead stare. They won't look you in the face. They'll look at the wall. They'll look to the side, and they do that dead stare. And then you're like, "Are you listening to me? I hear every word you say." I'm like, "Yeah, do you? But are you comprehending what I said?"
But usually, honestly, I'm gonna just tell you, they do hear you. They hear everything that you're saying. But the question is, have you already said this shit? Like, did you already say this? Are we repeating? If you read your text message, did you really, by the time you got to the end, start repeating the shit you said in the beginning?
Or are you even trying to dictate how I should react to what you're telling me right now?
Right.
Because I'm not reacting the way you want me to act. Now
It's
we have
called
an issue.
It's called communication. Say something.
Okay.
Do
Something.
something.
So if I
mean,
just say okay, which a lot of guys do, if I just say okay,
no,
I did say something.
What is this is a new one, and I hate this phrase, and I hear it a lot. I'm not gonna tongue wrestle with you. I say I wish you would. I wish you would. We might
Tongue
have
wrestle, that's
these
funny.
problems. He's like, or like going back and forth with you about this.
I mean, and then I think you
got
have to
what-
know your person. Like, at some point, you have to have some type of investment to know he ain't finna be listening to this. So I need to try to figure out another way to help him or to get him to understand what I'm saying. A lot of times we come in the same way, and they're just like, it's like wah 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 wah
Mhm.
wah wah wah.
That's when I think you put your feminist hat in the drawer, right? And you pull out your damsel. You pull her out. Because if I want you to hear me, if I really want you to hear me, then I gotta speak to you in a tone and in a way that makes you wanna hear what I have to say. But if you got your hands on your hips and your neck is doing some serious business and your hands are all over the place, he can't hear you. It's too much happening at one time. Like, you've got to take some of the bass out your voice. Cause I've had guys say to me, like, y'all could just be your own nigga. Like, you don't need a man. You your own man. Cause you got all the answers. You done figured it all out. You don't, what you need me for? You know, guys feel that way cause you just talk them in, you just gonna beat them down with some words. So I feel like it is important that you think about what you're about to say and how you wanna articulate. Do you wanna win or do you just wanna be right?
I started using that the other day with my daughter. She's used it back on me. Ugh,
Do you wanna win? My thing is I wanna win.
simple
So
stuff.
if I need to be all sweet and kind with it, then I'm gonna be that. Cause I need you to hear me. And I need you to do what I'm asking. I need your agreement and your cooperation. No one will, if your boss walk in and slam the door and say, all you bitches better be here tomorrow, you gonna call out, because you dare him to tell you where to be, right? But if he comes to you nice and say, Pearl, I know tomorrow's your day off, you know.
If none of it, tomorrow's my day off, I don't give a damn what you say.
But what I'm saying
not
is,
coming.
you would even consider it better if somebody came to you kinder and nicer and explained to you the why than coming in and demanding shit. I'm just saying.
Even though you're not gonna come anyway. But
We know you're not coming, but at the end of the day,
Monday through Friday, this bitch will be here. But no, not if it's Saturday. So
you're not gonna be able to do it. But I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, whatever you want out of someone, think about how could they get it out of you?
right. No.
You need people to come to you in a certain way to ask you anything. If they don't come to you sweet, you just ain't gonna give it to them.
well, not.
And we can't expect people to have the same type of reaction we would have. We always throw up and, well, I would have done this way, and if I would have done this for you, and did it, and you have to realize you two, whoever it is, whether it's a friend or significant other, you two are individuals. So you don't process information the same way. You probably don't handle situations the same. And you have to realize that and give that person room and time to deal with whatever it is, how they deal with it. It's not on your terms. It's not on your terms, Christy.
Oh, I'm looking at you, man. You need the physician heal thyself. Yeah.
No, I know that.
Hmm.
And I don't have a problem with that. Because I say what I say and I mean what I say, and it is what it is.
But anything, you can work on it though.
Some things you can work on if you're willing.
So you're not willing.
No.
But, okay, but let's go back to a time
Not at
where
all.
you were. Because right now, you're coming from an angry place, friend.
You're
It's coming
angry.
through.
I'm not,
It's
no,
coming through everywhere. Like, it's coming out your pores.
I'm not, honestly, I'm not angry. I'm
it's
at
sure
I am
coming out.
so at a place of peace. Like, I'm at a place where, first of all, I want to be obedient, and I want to live out my life with my person. That's all I want. Period.
You gonna be obedient?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And just so we clear, because somebody is your person, doesn't mean that every day is gonna be easy and sunshine
No, and that's
rainbows
fine.
and all of that.
No,
I'm not saying that you
completely-
didn't understand it. I'm
Mhm.
for the people,
Mm-hmm.
for the culture. I'm just saying, we also have to be mindful that because things are not a walk in the park, doesn't mean it's not worth the work. It's not, I will say it's not worth you doing all the work, right? I will say that. If all the work is yours, all the calling is yours, all the texting is yours, all the money spent is yours, all the time invested is yours, all the compromising is yours, if all the work is yours, then I'll say no, you ain't even gonna go to no job for 2 weeks straight and not collect a check. So there has to be something in it for you. If you realize and check in with yourself. We talked about this before. Check in with you and ask you, how do you feel? Don't run to your friends first, because everybody's outside looking in opinion is gonna look a whole lot different than your reality. So check in with yourself and see, how do you really feel about this? Do you wanna continue? Are you comfortable continuing doing this way? The answer is no, change something. If you're good, continue. But I can't say that your person, there's a couple I follow on Instagram, and their pictures before they got married, like, you could see love in both of them. Like, you could see they allowed us to follow their journey, had a little boy, got married, like, and he had a stroke. And he has been struggling, like, with many strokes and everything. He's a young guy, he's not an older man. He's been struggling with trying to get well ever since he had this massive stroke. But the love hasn't left her eyes for him. And you see him, he goes to his therapy, he's learning to, like, walk and do things for himself again. And they have this little boy who still wants to climb up on daddy and everything. But that ain't easy. It can't be easy. But yet, the love is still there, and her desire to continue to do it with him is still there. As long as you're good with that. But the minute it don't feel good to you and it doesn't come from a place of love, if you can't do all things with this person in love, then go do it somewhere else. Because you will resent them if you just stay there and continue, and you know you've exhausted everything you had to give. And you don't have to apologize for that. I don't got nothing else to give. I'm sorry if I don't have another beautiful way to say that, but I have nothing else to give to this. So we need to go our separate ways.
Of course.
And that includes that friendship. If this person, after you talk to her, if she just feel like, well, shit, I don't owe you a ride in my car, right? Then you might need to put a bow on that and say, this was great, but it doesn't work for me.
Right.
This is why we said a bit of selfishness is not bad, because you, in every relationship, whether it's at your job, is this job working for me? How do I feel when I come here? Do I wake up every morning resentful of this place? It's time for a new job if the answer is yes. If a friendship don't feel good, I've had a conversation, it still don't feel good, squash it. Don't walk away angry, walk away free. And say, what did I lose when I let this person out of my life? What did I really lose? And you'll be surprised how many people, if you let them go, you didn't lose shit. Nothing in your day changed because they weren't there.
That's deep.
So my
Well,
question-
well, folks,
That's it.
it's 10:30.
Wow.
We did it. We did
No, but
it.
Keena has something to say though. Let's
I
leave it
gotta
with
hear
some
this.
What did
No,
you
go
what did you want to say? One
I
last
wanted
one.
to ask
This
you
looks like a part
ladies.
2 anyway.
No. I wanted to ask you ladies for 2020, what are you willing to sacrifice for relating? For example, myself, I am willing to sacrifice falling in love fast. I want to throw that shit in the garbage.
Oh,
Really?
You don't want that to happen again.
Yeah, I don't want that.
What
Oh,
was the
I thought
question
you were saying
again?
that you wanted.
What are
okay.
you willing to sacrifice in relating for this year
In relating
that has
to-
not been working?
So something you want to give up that doesn't work is what you're saying.
It don't never work for me. It'll never work for me. Yeah, but I want to keep it a little.
She can't throw caution to the wind.
You don't want to do the meet and greet.
No, the meet and greet is perfect for that because you just kicking it, you friends, you just meeting somebody. It's surface level. It's nothing deep.
But
you
you're
know?
taking that chance that that one person out there that might be that fast love might be your person.
Can we make her get on a date?
No,
Why?
absolutely not.
Open it now.
Definitely not by your choice. No.
Wow.
She'll have me with a guy that says all the right things, but ain't got nothing but intentions to play me.
But you won't know
But
until
Keena, he said this. Like, no, girl.
but you
Believe
won't know until
everything.
you try.
I believe everything.
You remind me.
Thank you very much.
What?
He's saying, how do you know you're not turning him off?
By your aura.
But
already
what
being
By what you
attitude,
say.
though? But what attitude?
The negative aura, like,
No,
okay,
it's
this can't
not
happen too
negative.
fast.
No, like I said before, I want somebody that's
She
just
shows
like.
off like that. I told her
No,
today in the car,
I
but
just
she
want
doesn't.
somebody that's just laughs a lot, that's just full of life, and I don't want to just be thinking about forever with somebody right away. Like I want to challenge myself to just keep it light for a little bit.
No, because I
No,
think she
I
felt
wasn't
like
wasting the guy's
and when
time.
you've gotten too serious too quick and gotten your heart broken.
That's what she
You've
said.
gotten too serious too quick and gotten your heart broken. So that's why she wants to go slow.
And we all.
She
have.
just tries to avoid it at all costs
I'm
and
not
doesn't
trying
live.
to avoid it. I want to take a different approach.
So what is your new approach?
Meet and greets.
Meet and greets, light and easy.
Yes.
But that doesn't discount the possibility that
What if
No,
you have a
no,
meet
no.
and greet?
Connection.
and
I'm
you
not
go-
saying like nothing's possible. I'm just saying like I want to challenge myself.
It was her expectations that she would put higher than that. You know, she would expect that so much and she would put it in a pedestal. If she keeps it low about low
With
vibration.
no expectations.
No expectation, then she's gonna not set
Give her.
herself up for failure.
so it's not
And
the
for
fall
pain.
in love part you wanna.
Right, I'm
Avoid
not
per
saying I
se.
don't want to
That you
fall
don't
in
wanna
love.
walk in the door and
Right.
Is that
expecting to
she
fall
would
in
do
love.
it too much and now she's, you know what I'm
Okay.
saying, trying to catch
Okay.
herself.
That I can
It
can
sounded
subscribe
different
to
though, that's what they
that.
all
I can
heard.
subscribe to that.
Yeah,
Okay, I like that actually. All right.
we need to do a part 2, cause
Okay,
we're done for
Christy,
tonight, guys.
What are you willing to give up? with sacrifice this year
To what?
for your happiness?
For my happiness?
Oh God, that's a good question. That is just a Christy answer. She
I'm not
just,
sacrificing nothing. I am going to do what I always do. My new me. I'm going to give everything that I have, and I expect to get everything
Oh,
you
gosh.
have. If you can't do that for me, it was nice.
She hasn't changed a bit.
Not one single iota. What about you, brother?
Dad, you know what? I'm gonna try to be nicer to my baby. Yeah, I should be more giving. I receive a
You
lot.
should learn how to throw it back. Can you
Boom.
work on that?
Okay,
You know, get you
guys.
some sucker.
I'm sure
Some
he'll be
soccer
happy to hear that. I'm gonna
program
fast
to
forward
throw it in the
this to the end. He's gonna be like, I love these girls. Finally, someone on my side.
Okay.
That is hilarious. Okay, well, I guess it's two things now.
Nick?
Jeez.
Nick?
Honestly,
She's perfect.
I'm not perfect, but I
Close.
am not sacrificing anything because my motto for 2020 is take your shit back. So I'm taking back everything that was taken from me. I'm not sacrificing my health, my peace of mind, my sanity, my happiness. I'm not sacrificing that for anybody.
Whoa.
Okay.
So that's my answer.
Okay.
Keish?
Well, mine is easy. I'm willing to sacrifice what it looks like for what it is. So it could look great, like everybody could think it's great. If it ain't great, I am not perpetrating a fraud in 2020. It's gonna be what it is. So that's where I'm at. But we want to thank you all for riding with us tonight.
Thank you.
We are happy to be back home. I'm very happy to be home. Thank you, JB.
Thank you.
Now, guys, if you're listening, that means you probably did download the app and you did subscribe to our YouTube channel. But if you have not done so as of yet, please download Yo Partner, and that's YOPODNER, out of your app store, and go to YouTube and find the Curve Unplugged, 3 words, the Curve Unplugged, and hit subscribe. You could also hit the little bell for notifications, so when we post new content, which you'll get new content every week now, when we post new content, you'll be the first to know. Until then, ladies, love you guys.
Good night.
And we love you guys. Mwah. See you next week. Bye-bye.